Chapter 313. Ni Xiaoqin was also very excited at this moment. These people were too kind. Not only did they take them in, but they also brought them to the exchange office. Before this, they didn't even dare to think about it. "Thank you, Sister Jingjing," Ni Xiaoqin said sweetly. "Haha, don't thank me. We'll be good sisters from now on." Yi Jingjing patted her small chest and said proudly. This place was located in a high-end residential area. It was surrounded by walls with iron wires tied to the walls. Every set distance, there would be people guarding the walls. This place became a natural defense. The group arrived at the gate. There were 2 off-road vehicles parked at the gate. There was a woman beside the vehicles. She looked to be in her 30s. Her face was full of vicissitudes of life. She seemed to be the captain of this group of guards. There was a group of men beside her. They were obviously the guards. "Sister Ma, you're back." The woman guarding the gate greeted from afar. "Is everything okay?" Ma Wan shouted. "Nothing, it's very safe," the woman guarding the gate said. She walked over to Wang Zhong and sized him up. "This kid looks like a student. Could he be on Tsang Jianxiang's side?" I asked. "This guy escaped from there," Ma Wan replied. "Okay." The woman guarding the gate nodded. She approached Wang Zhong and said, "Kid, I don't care who you used to be. Just listen up. If I find something wrong with you, I, Huang Hong, will be the first to kill you. Sister Huang, I was also harmed by Tsang Jianxiang's people." Wang Zhong pointed at the scar on his scalp. "They did this. Okay, go in." Huang Hong glanced at Wang Zhong's scalp and waved her hand impatiently. "Let's go." Yi Jingjing pushed Wang Zhong. After they went in, Yi Jingjing said, "Don't be angry. Sister Huang Hong and her sister met Tsang Jianxiang's group in the beginning. Her sister died in Tsang Jianxiang's hands. Later, Sister Huang Hong escaped. The person she hates the most is Tsang Jianxiang." Wang Zhong nodded to show that he understood. After entering the small district, Wang Zhong bumped into quite a few people. There were quite a few men here, and most of them were digging. Judging by the looks of it, they were piling up the soil on the other side of the wall to build a sentry post, as well as reinforcing and raising the wall. Some women were practicing at the side. A woman with a strong physique was training them. This scene left Wang Zhong dumbfounded. Why did he only train women? "Ni Xiaoqin, come with me. I'll take you to the exchange office. I hope you can exchange for something good that will benefit you," Ma Wan said. Wang Zhong hurriedly followed up, but he didn't expect Yi Jingjing to stop Wang Zhong. "I asked Ni Xiaoqin to go, not you. But I also want to exchange for something," Wang Zhong said. Ni Xiaoqin sneered. "In this place, only women can exchange. Men can only be coolies." "What?" Wang Zhong was stunned. "We can only be coolies? What do you think? Since then, men are prohibited from exchanging. Don't worry, although you can't exchange, we will protect you. As long as you work hard, we will give you food," Yi Jingjing said with a smile. The group quickly left. Song Jian said, "Let's go. This is how it is. Although we are ordered around by these women, at least we are safe." A middle-aged man beside him said, "Young man, I know you are surprised by the situation here, but there is no choice. You have to get used to it." "All right, come with me to pack the food. Since you are so young, I will give you a job in the kitchen," Song Jian said. Since he was already here, this was the only way. Wang Zhong sighed. He hoped that Ni Xiaoqin would come to him after she exchanged for something. Wang Zhong didn't expect that there would be a day when he would place his hopes on a 15-year-old girl. The so-called kitchen was the building closest to the main entrance, room 101 on the first floor. There was a lot of food placed here. 6 cooks and helpers were preparing food for the people in the camp. After helping in the kitchen for more than 2 hours, the food was finally ready. "Wang Yan." Wang Zhong was about to take the food out when Ni Xiaoqin ran over excitedly. "I asked the people outside and they said you are working here." Wang Zhong was elated as he asked, have you settled your matters? Ni Xiaoqin nodded. Are you free? Let's go out and eat together. Wang Zhong subconsciously looked at the head chef. The head chef was a big fat man. From the chef's conversation, this person seemed to have been a chef before the disaster. His culinary skills were not bad, and the dishes he cooked were delicious. The head chef naturally knew what Wang Zhong was thinking. He was quite reasonable and nodded. Since we are done here, you can go eat first. Thank you, head chef. Wang Zhong quickly walked out with Ni Xiaoqin. Once they were out, Wang Zhong couldn't wait to ask, what did you exchange for? What is it like? Ni Xiaoqin said mysteriously, that thing is really amazing. When my hand touched the light, a square box appeared in front of me. There were pictures inside, and below each picture was the number of crystals. If I wanted to exchange for a picture, I just had to click on the picture and take out the crystals to exchange for it. As she spoke, Ni Xiaoqin pulled Wang Zhong to the corridor outside the building. She rolled up her sleeves and said, look at this. On Ni Xiaoqin's right wrist, there was a tattoo of a fist. I remember you didn't have this tattoo before. What is this? Wang Zhong was curious. Qilin arm. Ni Xiaoqin said proudly. I got it from the lottery. Lottery? Wang Zhong was a little confused. It's like this. Sister Jingjing said that I only have 30 crystals. These crystals can at most be exchanged for a few ordinary equipment, so it won't be of much use. So, she told me to draw a lottery. I got excited and drew a lottery. You drew all of them? Wang Zhong's heart itched. He couldn't wait to rush over and draw a lottery. He quickly asked, how many crystals does it cost to draw a lottery? This depends on the requirements of the exchange office. Every exchange office is different. Sister Jingjing said that the brighter the light in the exchange office, the higher the level. They also divided the level of the light in the exchange office into level 1, level 2, and level 3. The level 1 lottery is 10 crystals per draw. The level 2 lottery is 20 crystals per draw. After listening to the explanation, Wang Zhong understood a little. I went directly to the level 3 lottery. Sister Jingjing said that there is no lottery here. Thank you for participating. Oh, that's good. Wang Zhong was envious. He asked, then you got the Qilin arm? Yeah, I only drew it once. I didn't expect my luck to be so good. How do you use this thing? The strength of my right arm has increased. Ni Xiaoqin smiled. In short, I'm quite satisfied. Wang Zhong sighed. Ni Xiaoqin was now rich. It seemed that he would have to follow her in the future. Chapter 3:14. The two of them went to room 102, which was the camp's cafeteria. There were many people eating there. There were more than 100 survivors here. With so many people, the cost of food every day was a huge expense. Wang Yan, it's dawn tomorrow. Let's go get the crystals from home? Ni Xiaoqin found a corner and sat down with Wang Zhong before speaking in embarrassment. Wang Zhong sighed. He understood that Ni Xiaoqin had tasted the sweetness of the power she could obtain from the crystal. Therefore, she couldn't wait to obtain the crystal. To be honest, he was a little reluctant. After all, there were so many crystals. If he could use them himself, it would be great. Unfortunately, this camp wouldn't let men exchange. Thinking about it, if an organization wanted to survive, they would need to have absolute control over their subordinates. Otherwise, once the subordinates obtained great power, it would be difficult to manage them. Although he was reluctant to part with her, he had been with Ni Xiaoqin for so long. Being able to see Ni Xiaoqin become stronger made him rather happy for her. Okay, take them all. Wang Zhong squeezed out a smile. Wang Yan, don't worry. These crystals were obtained by us. What weapon do you like? I can secretly exchange it for you. If it doesn't work, I'll help you plead with my sisters. Ni Xiaoqin said. Wang Zhong's heart warmed. Ni Xiaoqin was really loyal. He didn't misjudge her. Thank you very much. And let's eat. If I let you exchange, it will probably take a few days. A few days ago, there was a sneak attack here and a few people were injured. Sister Yi is not in a good mood, Ni Xiaoqin said vaguely while eating. Injured? Is it serious? It's all superficial wounds. But the troublesome thing is that their wounds are festering. They are worried that there will be inflammation. If that happens, it will be troublesome for them to get tetanus. Unfortunately, there are no doctors in the camp. So today, they went to the pharmacy to get some anti-inflammatory medicine. Ni Xiaoqin picked a piece of taro. Seeing that Wang Zhong was looking at her without eating, she gave it to Wang Zhong and said with a smile, "Eat more. Grow stronger and you will be able to survive in the future." Looking at this sensible little girl, Wang Zhong felt warm in his heart. While eating, Wang Zhong said vaguely, "Actually, if the wound is not deep, you can go over and talk to me. I might be able to treat it." You know how to heal? Wang Zhong was almost amused. He laughed and said, "Have you forgotten that I'm the one who treated my broken bones?" "Oh really?" Ni Xiaoqin suddenly recalled that after Wang Yan was injured, he had to prescribe his own medicine and put himself on an 4-drip. This wasn't something that could be learned from watching movies. "To be honest, I've studied it before," Wang Zhong said. "That's great. I'll immediately tell Sister Yi to let you go over for treatment." "Well, sure." Wang Zhong smiled. His veterinary skills had finally come in handy. Of course, he was no longer an ordinary veterinarian. After so many missions, he had already learned a lot about traditional Chinese medicine. Thus, it was easy for him to treat ordinary illnesses. After the two of them finished their meal, Ni Xiaoqin pulled Wang Zhong to a luxurious villa in the district. There were many high-rise buildings in this district. There were also many high-end villas. Some of the leaders of the camp lived in these villas. The conditions were pretty good. "Stop." Ni Xiaoqin pulled Wang Zhong to the entrance of the villa and was stopped by a cleaning lady in her 50s. She was wearing a cleaning lady's uniform, but her expression was stern. She coldly glanced at Wang Zhong and Ni Xiaoqin and said, "Aren't you Ni Xiaoqin? Didn't you exchange for something? Why are you here again?" "Auntie Li, this is my companion. He knows how to treat injuries." Ni Xiaoqin pulled Wang Zhong and said, "He's a doctor? He's so young. He hasn't even graduated from junior high school, right?" Auntie Li obviously didn't believe it. "No. Although he's young, he treated the fracture of his right arm by himself." Ni Xiaoqin quickly explained. Wang Zhong stretched out his thin right arm and said, "My right arm was fractured and inflamed. Later, I prescribed medicine and put on an intravenous drip." "How do you know all this?" Wang Zhong made up a story and said, "My grandfather is an old Chinese medicine doctor. I followed him for a long time when I was young and gradually learned." "So that's how it is." Auntie Li used to be a cleaning lady in this district. At her age, she trusted some old Chinese medicine doctors. Thus, she believed Wang Zhong's words. Thus she said, "Then let's go in. But listen, you can't treat it carelessly. If you don't know, you don't know. Understand?" "I understand." Wang Zhong nodded and walked in with Ni Xiaoqin. "Sister Chanqian, kill me. I'm in so much pain. Woo, my hand is crippled. Sister Chanqian, you have to save me. Zhang Jianxiang, that guy. I must kill him. Lingling, are you okay? Wake up. It's over. Lingling has a high fever." As soon as they entered, Wang Zhong heard cries coming from inside. It seemed that many people were injured and weren't in a good state. Wang Zhong thought to himself, "All right." At this time, a cold voice sounded, "I've received news that Zhang Jianxiang has 3 doctors. Later, we'll kill our way in and kidnap the 3 doctors. Sister Chanqian, I'll go with you." "Yes, let's go together and kill them all." Wang Zhong was surprised. It seemed that the people here were all hot-tempered. "Sister Chanqian, please reconsider. I heard that Zhang Jianxiang got a batch of guns. We only have crossbows. We can't beat them." At this time, Someone in the room said. Humph, what's there to be afraid of? At this time, Wang Zhong and Ni Shaoqin walked in. In the villa's living room, a tall woman wearing jeans and a leather jacket glanced at Wang Zhong and frowned. Ni Shaoqin, why are you here again? It was obvious that this domineering woman was the leader of this group, Yi Qianqian. She looked quite similar to Yi Jingjing. Wang Zhong guessed that they were twins. However, Yi Qianqian was tall while Yi Jingjing was short because of her stunted growth. At this moment, Yi Jingjing was sitting on the sofa. When she saw Wang Zhong coming over, she asked curiously, Wang Yan, didn't I arrange for you to help in the kitchen? Why are you here? Ladies, this is my friend Wang Yan. Although he's a junior high school student, he knows some medical skills. Ni Shaoqin said weakly. She didn't have much confidence in her heart. Huh? Yi Jingjing was surprised. A junior high school student knows medical skills? He's the reborn divine doctor? Shaoqin, did you read too many novels before the apocalypse? Hurry up and leave. Qianqian, let's discuss how to kill Zhang Jianxiang. Kill them all. Chapter 315. Hurry up and leave. Qianqian, let's discuss how to kill Zhang Jianxiang. Kill him. The one who spoke was a short-haired woman. She had a big head and a face full of pockmarks. She looked like a tomboy in her 40s. Yi Qianqian was not old, about the same age as Yi Jingjing. She glanced at Wang Zhong. Apparently, she also felt that Wang Zhong was so young and knew nothing about medicine. So she frowned and said, Shaoqin, don't bring your little boyfriend here to make trouble. You're so young and you're actually learning to make trouble. When Yi Qianqian spoke, Wang Zhong was a little surprised. Because he found that Yi Qianqian gave him a familiar feeling. Yi Jingjing gave him a familiar feeling before. At this moment, Yi Qianqian gave him a stronger feeling. He seemed to have seen her somewhere before. But this was not the time to recall. Wang Zhong said, It's like this. When I was young, I learned from my grandfather who knew Chinese medicine. I cured my arm fracture by myself. As he spoke, Wang Zhong glanced at the wounded on the 5 beds in the hall. These wounded were all women. 2 of them had a broken arm and 1 of them had a broken leg. The remaining 2 had bandages around their hearts and stomachs. It seemed that the wounds were very deep. The condition of these 2 people was not very good. They were sweating and had a high fever. This kind of wound was very easy to be infected. In this post-apocalyptic world, there was no medicine to treat it, not to mention it. How is it? Can you really cure them? Yi Qianqian walked to Wang Zhong's side. As long as you can cure them, I'll let you go to the exchange office to draw a prize. Good. It's a deal. Wang Zhong smiled confidently and began to check. The treatment of the 3 people with fractures was a bit troublesome. Wang Zhong first checked the medical supplies. It was quite complete. Strictly speaking, the best way to treat their fractures was to perform surgery and install a steel plate. But obviously, there was no such condition here. So the most urgent thing was to put a plaster. Wang Zhong picked out bandages, painkillers, plaster and the like from the medicine. Painkillers aren't as effective as anesthetics, but we can only make do for now. Wang Zhong looked at the 3 men with fractures and said, Bear with it later. The 3 women looked to be in their 30s. They all nodded and endured the pain. Wang Zhong began to make his move. Everyone took 5 painkillers. 10 minutes later, the effects of the painkillers began to kick in. After that, Wang Zhong got everyone to clean up the area. He looked at everyone and said, These people's wounds were exposed to the air. You guys made it so dirty. No wonder they got infected. As he spoke, he shook his head helplessly. After washing his hands, he began to disinfect the room with disinfectant. Everyone began to pack up. Soon, they used bed sheets to create a small room for the wounded. After he was done, Wang Zhong began to fix a broken arm. The injury on this person's arm was not very serious. The wound was only bent, and the skin was not broken. Wang Zhong touched it and said, "The injury is not bad. Let me fix it for you." After the bone was pressed to a suitable position, the plaster began to be applied. It could be seen that even if she took painkillers, such an injury still gave her a sharp pain. After that, he began to fix the second person. This person's wound was serious. The wound was already swollen and began to fester. Wang Zhong did not apply the plaster immediately. Instead, he scraped the pus off with a cotton swab and finally gave her an intravenous drip. The last person with a fracture had a more serious injury. Wang Zhong stitched her up more than 30 times. After disinfecting, he also began to give her an intravenous drip. Seeing Wang Zhong's skillful actions, the few women beside him breathed a sigh of relief. It's a pity that we didn't get any medical items from the lucky draw these days. Otherwise, we could have cured one person. At this time, Aunt Li, who informed everyone to eat, came in and sighed. Hearing this, Wang Zhong asked curiously, "Can we get medical items from the exchange office?" "Of course. In fact, you can also get a lot of daily necessities. It depends on how many crystals you have," Yi Jingjing explained. "When it's done, I'll take you to the exchange office. Do a good job." Yi Chanqian saw Wang Zhong's expectation and expressed her attitude. "Okay." Wang Zhong nodded and began to treat the two women who had a high fever. The first person had a low fever. After cutting the bandage on her wound, the blood inside had turned black. Just like before, he scraped the pus off, disinfected it, stitched it up, and put it on an intravenous drip. The last woman was called Qin Ling. It could be seen that she used to be a beauty, but now, she was barely breathing. "So hot, I'm so hot." Qin Ling closed her eyes and said uncomfortably, "Ling, hold on. The doctor is treating you." Yi Chanqian squatted by the side and said nervously. Wang Zhong cut open the wound on Qin Ling's stomach. His eyes narrowed. Fortunately, her stomach wasn't cut open. "Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do anything." "Can you save her?" Yi Chanqian asked nervously. Try your best. If you can't cure her, don't blame me," Wang Zhong said expressionlessly. He removed the pus and put it on an intravenous drip. After everything was done, Wang Zhong let out a sigh of relief. Suddenly, he felt powerless. At this time, he realized that his stomach was empty and the sky outside was already dark. "Are you okay?" Yi Chanqian held Wang Zhong and asked. I'm fine. I'm just a little hungry." Before Wang Zhong could finish his words, he was carried up by Yi Chanqian easily. What are you doing?" Wang Zhong was shocked. As a boy, being carried by a girl like this, how embarrassing. "Your body is so weak. Speak less. I'll bring you upstairs to eat something." "Oh, then let me down." "Don't talk nonsense." Yi Chanqian was very domineering. She directly went upstairs. "This child, he just did it for more than 6 hours. He's a good person." Aunt Li sighed. "Yeah, I saw that the sister's wounds were treated well by him. We should make him stronger so that he won't die in the future." Someone suggested. "That's right. After all, he's the team's healer." A girl who used to play games said. As everyone started to discuss amongst themselves, Wang Zhong was brought to a bedroom. Pink walls, pink bed, pink dolls on the bed, pink pajamas. "Oh my God, isn't this too cute? Which girl's bedroom is this?" Cough cough. "This is my room." Yi Chanqian entered the room. At this time, Wang Zhong reacted after a short moment of surprise. At the window of the room, there was a flickering light. This light was exceptionally bright. It wasn't simple at all. "The exchange office is in your room?" Wang Zhong was shocked. "That's right. Reach your hand over," Yi Chanqian said and pulled out a bag of crystals from under the bed. "This is the exchange office. You can exchange items and also draw prizes. There are 200 crystals in the bag. Consider it a benefit for you. You don't need me to teach you this. Just reach your hand over and you'll know." "Thank you." Wang Zhong didn't refuse. After receiving the bag, he reached his hand over. Buzz! The moment he reached his hand over, Wang Zhong felt a strange force wrapping around him. He looked around. At this moment, he seemed to have come to a strange space. Everything was white. At the same time, patterns appeared in front of him. These patterns had everything, from mineral water, snacks, to some weapons and equipment. At the bottom, there were some patterns that he couldn't understand. For example, there was a pattern of a strange-looking gun, but it required 8,888 crystals to exchange for this thing. There was also a large car with the words Doomsday Base Car on it, which actually required millions of crystals. Too expensive. Even a fool could see that the things exchanged below were good things. Maybe it was powerful weapons and equipment, or even some special strength equipment that could improve the physique. Unfortunately, those things were too expensive. This cheap equipment, similar to a dagger, required 88 crystals. This dagger was called Fast Cut Dagger. The name was very common, but its characteristic was that it could cut quickly. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong didn't exchange. There were many cold weapons. This dagger didn't have any specialty, so there was no need to spend these crystals to exchange. At the back, the equipment within 200 crystals was some ordinary cold weapons. Wang Zhong curled his lips. No wonder Ni Shaoqin didn't exchange. These weapons were too trashy. Finally, he looked at the lottery at the bottom. Ni Shaoqin got the Kirin arm through the lottery. That thing looked very good. If it was exchanged, it would probably cost tens of thousands of crystals, right? And she only spent a few dozen crystals to get it. I want to draw too. Thinking of this, Wang Zhong didn't hesitate to click on the lottery below. Click on the lottery successful. Please put in 10 coins. Coins, it refers to the crystals in my hand, right? Wang Zhong secretly thought. Soon, 10 grooves appeared on the side of the lottery font. Grabbing 10 crystals, Wang Zhong found that the size of the grooves was the same as the crystals in his hand. So he put them down one by one. After it was done, the screen began to flicker. At this moment, Wang Zhong discovered that the prizes for the lottery draw were actually items that could be exchanged for from the higher-ups. I hope I can get a Doomsday Base Car as a reward, Wang Zhong secretly said. Soon, the small flashing square on the screen stopped. Congratulations on getting a bottle of mineral water. Mineral water, here, costs 8 crystals a bottle. The price is very expensive. Overall, it was a loss. Fortunately, it was only 10 crystals. Continue the lottery. Congratulations on getting a nail clipper. Congratulations on getting an ear pick. Congratulations on getting a pair of slippers. Congratulations on getting a milk bottle. Congratulations on getting... What the fuck? Wang Zhong cursed as he looked at the useless rewards that appeared one after another. My luck is too bad. Why are they all useless things? Looking at the big pile of garbage on the ground, Wang Zhong wanted to cry. He suddenly felt that this mission was going to be repeated. This is too unlucky. Exiting the exchange office, Wang Zhong looked at Yi Chanqian behind him. You drew a lottery? Seeing the big pile of useless things on the ground, Yi Chanqian was curious. Wang Zhong nodded. His face was very ugly. When he was about to speak, suddenly the corner of his eyes glanced at the things on the bedside table, and his heart moved. No wonder Yi Chanqian and Yi Jingjing are so familiar with this pair of sisters, so it's them. Chapter 316. Previously, Wang Zhong felt that Yi Jingjing looked familiar, as if he had seen her somewhere before. After seeing Yi Chanqian, this feeling became even more familiar. However, he couldn't recall where he had seen her before. At this moment, looking at the things on the bedside table, he suddenly remembered. On the bedside table were some broadcasting equipment, headphones, and microphones. It was obvious that they were used for broadcasting. Connecting the dots, Wang Zhong suddenly recalled something. Wasn't Yi Jingjing a live streamer? He suddenly remembered that before the apocalypse, many of his classmates liked to watch broadcasts. Among them, there was a female broadcaster called Little Chanchian, who was quite popular. He remembered that she had a younger sister who occasionally appeared in her broadcast room. Wasn't that Yi Jingjing? Well, it's the lottery. Although he recognized Yi Chanchian, it was useless. Wang Zhong sighed, I got a lot of useless things. Your luck. Yi Chanchian was speechless. Take it slow. Anyway, you have medical skills. We will take care of you. After going downstairs, everyone knew that Wang Zhong had gotten a lot of rubbish. For a moment, everyone looked at him with sympathy. It's okay. We will take care of you in the future. Yi Jingjing said. AI, keep up the good work. I will slowly get used to it. Study your medical skills. It seems that you are really not suitable for the lottery. Yi Chanchian came over and said. Don't tell me your luck is that good? Wang Zhong asked in confusion. We can at least get some equipment in 10 draws. It may not be useful, but we can exchange it with others. As for you... Yi Chanchian took out a lot of mineral water, an ear pick, and a nail clipper that Wang Zhong had gotten. We will see what you can get in the future. If possible, we will help you get some equipment. Thank you. Wang Zhong said dejectedly. Just like this, Wang Zhong officially moved into the villa. Under his care, the 5 injured people's injuries were recovering day by day. The effect seemed to be good. A week later, Ni Shaoqin, Ma Wan, and the others went out to their previous residence to get the remaining crystals. Because Wang Zhong had to take care of the injured, he didn't go with them. What surprised him was that Ni Shaoqin, Ma Wan, and the others did not return even when the sky turned dark. Why aren't Sister Ma and the rest back yet? It's already 9 o'clock. In the villa, Yi Jingjing looked at the night sky outside and felt a little nervous. Don't worry, Auntie Li brought her people out. Someone beside him comforted him. Wang Zhong was taking care of the wounded at the side. He was also a little puzzled. This time, Sister Ma and Ni Shaoqin set off on their newly modified electric tricycle. Logically speaking, he should be able to make a round trip in less than half a day. But it was already so late, and he still hadn't returned. Reason told him that Ni Shaoqin and the others were most likely dead. Fortunately, Auntie Li, who was sweeping the floor, brought some people to look for him. He had some understanding of Auntie Li's strength these days. It was said that Auntie Li's first lottery draw was a top-tier equipment, the sweeping monk's broom. This broom was the one she usually used to sweep the floor. It was said that it had fused with her. If she was there, her equipment would be there. If she wasn't, she wouldn't be there either. He had never seen how powerful the broom was, but from the way these people respected Auntie Li, he could tell that Auntie Li was not weak. And what surprised Wang Zhong the most was that other than being strong, Yi Chanchian also drew a special reward, her profession. That's right, there were professions that could be exchanged in this exchange office. But generally speaking, the price was very expensive. Yi Chanchian also got it by chance. Her profession was craftsman. It was a very strange profession. After getting this profession, Yi Chanchian also got a craftsman's hammer. Using this craftsman's hammer, she created crossbows according to the profession's blueprint. That was why there were so many crossbows in their camp. But Auntie Li has been out for more than 2 hours. Why hasn't she returned yet? Qin Ling, who had recovered some of her consciousness, asked. Qin Ling, rest well. These are not things that a wounded person like you can think about. Wang Zhong reminded her. Qin Ling had just recovered a little. He didn't want Qin Ling to worry too much and affect her recovery. Qin Ling nodded slightly. Little Wang, I'm also a little worried. Everyone in the room looked dignified. Yi Jingjing stood up and said, This can't go on. Why don't I bring people over to take a look? This. Yi Chanchian thought. Half of their high-end force had already gone out. If they sent them out, what if there was more danger? Just as she was thinking, suddenly, there was an explosion at the door. Boom boom. Not only at the main door, but also at the back door, east door, and west door of the residential area, there was a huge explosion. What's going on? Yi Qianqian quickly picked up the walkie-talkie. Da da da. Gunshots came from the walkie-talkie. Then she heard the guard crying, "Sister Yi, not good. We're surrounded." Who is it? It seems to be Tsang Jianxiang's people. They have guns. Bang. Ah. There was a scream from the walkie-talkie. Then, there was no sound. They're here. Let's fight them. Someone in the room wanted to rush out. Wait, we have to figure out the situation first. But our brothers and sisters outside are about to die. What should we do? It's over, it's over. There were many people in the room, but none of them could say what was going on. Qianqian. Suddenly, a person covered in blood rushed in from the door. Upon closer look, it was Auntie Li who went out earlier. Auntie Li, what happened to you? Yi Qianqian quickly supported Auntie Li. Auntie Li was not in a good state. Her right arm was covered in blood, and the broom in her left hand was broken. Plop. Auntie Li fell to the ground and cried while holding Yi Qianqian. We were ambushed by Tsang Jianxiang's people. What happened? Yi Jingjing walked over and asked anxiously. Ni Shaoqin and Ma Wan are dead. After I went over, I was attacked by them. They have guns, and we can't beat them with our crossbows. After Auntie Li finished speaking, she spat out a mouthful of blood. My people are all dead. Wang Zhong's expression changed. Ni Shaoqin is dead. He and Ni Shaoqin had been friends for so long. But he did not expect Ni Shaoqin to be dead. Yes, I saw with my own eyes her head was hung on the front of the car by Tsang Jianxiang's people. Auntie Li said. But didn't she get the Qilin arm? In Wang Zhong's opinion, Ni Shaoqin should not be so weak. Her Qilin arm is only level 1. It hasn't evolved yet, Yi Qianqian said. Qianqian, take your people and leave quickly. Tsang Jianxiang got an arsenal and has a lot of people. They are coming for you. Go, I will cover for you. Chapter 317. Ha ha ha, Auntie Li, where do you think you're going now? At this moment, an off-road vehicle came from behind. Behind the vehicle, there was a large group of people. Obviously, this group of people killed the people at the front door and came here. At the front of the vehicle, Ni Shaoqin and Ma Wan's heads were hanging. At the front passenger seat, a man in leather slowly got out of the car. In his hand, he was holding a broken arm. From the thickness of the broken arm, it was Ni Shaoqin's. Wang Zhong also recognized this leather jacket man. It was the leather jacket man he saw killing zombies with Ni Shaoqin when they were hiding upstairs. Tsang Jianxiang. Tsang Jianxiang, you actually came here personally. Auntie Li retreated in horror, but she still picked up her broom and gritted her teeth. I'll kill you even if I have to fight with you. Tsang Jianxiang ignored Auntie Li and said to Yi Qianqian, Yi Qianqian, we're friends. We knew each other before the apocalypse. My conditions still count. How about it? Bah. Unexpectedly, Yi Jingjing rushed out and scolded, how did you treat us before? You still want us to surrender? Bah. 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 Jingjing, I sent you gifts during your birthday broadcast. You actually scolded me. You're really disappointing. Tsang Jianxiang shook his head and sighed. Tsang Jianxiang, you also said that we used to be friends. Since that's the case, let your people leave here. I promise that we won't interfere in each other's business in the future. Yi Qianqian gritted her teeth and said. Ha 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 ha, Tsang Jianxiang laughed. Qianqian, it's been more than a year since the apocalypse. You're still so childish? Stop talking nonsense. You're already surrounded. Surrender. Even if I die, I'll take you as a scapegoat. Suddenly, Yi Qianqian took out her blacksmith's hammer. Seeing this hammer, Tsang Jianxiang was obviously vigilant. The group quickly retreated. The next moment, the group of people behind him took out their guns. Shoot. Sang Jianxiang knew that Yi Qianqian and her people would not surrender so easily, so he simply gave the order. In any case, to him, even if these people surrendered, he would not be at ease. His goal, other than the crystals here, was to seize the exchange points in Yi Qianqian's room. Now, every exchange point was incomparably precious. This was because everyone knew that as long as there were enough crystals, they could be exchanged for good things. Therefore, as long as there were places with exchange points, almost all of them would be occupied. The twin sisters, Yi Qianqian and Yi Jingjing, were also lucky. When the apocalypse began, the bright spot in the sky actually appeared in their house. This allowed them to get ahead of others and exchange for good things, allowing them to be one step ahead of others. Following Sang Jianxiang's order, his men began to fire. Countless bullets were fired at the door and windows. Wang Zhong immediately crouched down. Unfortunately, the 5 wounded people in front of him were all shot, especially Qin Ling. She was shot into a beehive and died. "I'll kill you." Yi Jingjing's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. She aimed the crossbow in her hand at Sang Jianxiang and shot. Her aim was very good. She accurately shot at Sang Jianxiang's eyes. Unfortunately, Sang Jianxiang was not weak. He took out a machete. This machete was bigger than the one before. Dang! Sang Jianxiang easily blocked the sharp arrow. Then he took out a pistol and pointed it at Yi Jingjing. "Let me show you the power of a pistol." Pang pang! After 2 consecutive shots, Yi Jingjing quickly dodged. "Your speed is quite fast." Sang Jianxiang laughed. He did not care. He waved his hand and said, "Beat them." Although the people in the room had some strength, in front of so many weapons, their strength was not enough. They were shot and fell to the ground. Aunt Li gritted her teeth and took out her broom to kill. Her broom looked like an ordinary broom, but when it was in front of her, all the bullets were blocked by the broom. The next moment, she jumped in the air and slapped at the people who were shooting. When the broom swept out, sharp thorns immediately shot out. Many people were hit and died on the spot. Sang Jianxiang laughed and slashed with his machete, crescent moon slash. He was more than 10 meters away from Aunt Li, but the machete slashed out a crescent moon. With a poochie sound, Aunt Li was cut in half. She could not be more dead. Looking at the people in the room, Sang Jianxiang slowly walked into the room. "Sai, I told you to surrender. You must force me to make a move." Whoosh! Yi Jingjing, who was hiding in the corner, suddenly shot an arrow, wanting to attack Sang Jianxiang. Unfortunately, Sang Jianxiang was very agile. His figure flashed and dodged the arrow. Sang Jianxiang turned his head and laughed. "Die!" The machete slashed at Yi Jingjing. The next moment, Yi Jingjing's head flew. "Sister!" Yi Qianqian cried heartbreakingly. Her arm was hit by a bullet. She endured the pain and rushed to the side of Yi Jingjing's head. "Sister Wo." Then, Yi Qianqian looked at Sang Jianxiang fiercely. "I'll kill you." She raised the blacksmith's hammer and smashed it at Sang Jianxiang. Obviously, Sang Jianxiang was afraid of the hammer. He quickly retreated and dodged the hammer's attack. Yi Qianqian jumped up and smashed again. Her hammer seemed to have an oppressive force. Every time she smashed, there was an unparalleled force. At the same time, a protective shield formed in front of her, blocking all the bullets that were shot at her. This made her invincible for a short period of time. Sang Jianxiang was pushed back again and again, but he wasn't afraid. He took a few steps back and shouted, "Good hammer, good hammer. Yi Qianqian, in your group, besides Auntie Li, I fear you the most. It's a pity that my crescent blade has been upgraded to an advanced level. No matter how strong your blacksmith hammer is, my crescent blade can still fight it. This time, let's see who is stronger." After saying that, Sang Jianxiang retreated dozens of meters. Crescent blade. Whoosh 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 whoosh. Countless crescent blades shot at Yi Qianqian. If it was before, Yi Qianqian could still block it with her strength. She could even use the shockwave of the blacksmith's hammer to slowly approach Sang Jianxiang. But now, she was injured. The painful injury on her arm made it impossible for her to use her original strength. At this moment, Yi Qianqian could only resist with difficulty. She gritted her teeth and held on. Most of the sisters around her were dead. Even if they were not, it would not be long before they died. Only Wang Zhong and Yi Qianqian were left. Wang Zhong hid in a corner and frowned. Is Yi Qianqian going to lose? Isn't this game a little too difficult? Everyone around her was basically dead. This time, it was really troublesome. Chapter 3:18. Yi Qianqian's attacks were getting weaker and weaker. It was obvious that she was at the end of her rope. Although Wang Zhong wanted to help, he knew that if he went up now, he would be courting death. So it was better for him to stay put. If he went up now, Yi Qianqian would have to take care of him. Zhang Jianxiang's crescent blades were getting stronger and stronger. Yi Qianqian finally couldn't resist anymore. Yi Qianqian didn't notice and her injured right arm was sent flying. Plop. Yi Qianqian fell to the ground, landing right beside Wang Zhong. Yi Qianqian. Wang Zhong supported her. Puff. A mouthful of blood was spat on Wang Zhong's face. Damn, this is so satisfying. Kid, you're here to treat the wounded, right? Kill Yi Qianqian and I'll make sure you don't die. Zhang Jianxiang saw some medicine in Wang Zhong's pocket and the bandages on the wounded. He knew that Wang Zhong was most likely a doctor here. In the post-apocalyptic world, doctors were very precious. Looking at Yi Qianqian in his arms, Yi Qianqian also looked at Wang Zhong with a cold expression. Wang Zhong sighed. Although he could live if he killed Yi Qianqian, he would feel sorry for his heart. In fact, after these days of contact, Wang Zhong could see that although Yi Qianqian was arrogant and overbearing in this camp, she was actually a good person. The reason why she suppressed the men and prevented them from exchanging items was for everyone's safety. This was because there had been incidents of men bullying women in the camp. At this moment, Wang Zhong naturally wouldn't make a move. Zhang Jianxiang was surprised. Kid, you're not afraid of death? Yi Qianqian also looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. Wang Zhong's originally cold and gloomy expression became unfathomable. Suddenly, she seemed to have thought of something and looked at Zhang Jianxiang. Zhang Jianxiang, you think you can kill me like this? Why, you still have a trick up your sleeve. Zhang Jianxiang smiled faintly, but his heart was alert. In the post-apocalyptic world, there were all kinds of equipment in the exchange center. Who knew what kind of equipment could make Yi Qianqian turn the tables? As a qualified leader, he naturally had to be extremely careful in his actions. Yi Qianqian smiled. Suddenly, she took out a scroll. Zhang Jianxiang was stunned and quickly retreated. He thought that the scroll was something that could cause a huge explosion and cause mutual destruction. Yi Qianqian put away the hammer and opened the scroll. What he saw was a white light. Wang Zhong was close enough to see the words on it clearly. Written on it was, "Return scroll." This. Wang Zhong couldn't figure it out. Where would the return scroll send people back to? Soon he knew the answer. As the light became brighter and brighter, he and Yi Qianqian disappeared from the room at the same time. F***CK, so it's an escape scroll. Zhang Jianxiang angrily kicked Yi Jingjing's head away and scolded, "Clean up this camp first. Kill anyone who resists." Yes. At this moment, Wang Zhong felt a strong gust of wind blowing in his ears. The wind was so strong that his ears were buzzing. He tried to open his eyes, but there was only white light in front of him. He couldn't see anything. Although he couldn't see anything, he still had some consciousness. He guessed that he might have entered a mysterious space. That return scroll could send people to a certain place. While he was thinking, the white light in front of him gradually dissipated. The sound of the wind disappeared, and he heard Yi Qianqian's weak whimper. "It hurts, it hurts." Yi Qianqian said weakly. Wang Zhong looked around. The white light had already dissipated. His surroundings turned out to be a residential building. This was obviously a bedroom. There was a rotten corpse lying on the bed. He wasn't familiar with this place. He didn't understand why he was here. Looking out the window, there was a large residential building. Below the building, there was a dense group of zombies. Oh my God, did we teleport to a zombie nest? Seeing the group of zombies below, Wang Zhong was stunned. This is my hometown, Marlene said. Yi Qianqian also opened her eyes. Gritting her teeth, she looked at the corpse on the bed and cried, "Mom, this is your sister's mother." Wang Zhong said, "How did we suddenly appear here?" "This is a return scroll. When I got this scroll, I set the location of the exit. It was set to my original home. My original plan was to escape when my sister and I were in trouble. I didn't expect her to die." At this time, Wang Zhong saw the photo album of Yi Qianqian's family on the bedside table. "I used to live with my sister in that villa. After the disaster, my sister and I wanted to pick up my mother, so we returned here. We saw that my parents had turned into zombies, so we killed them. At that time, this place wasn't surrounded by zombies. I didn't expect it to become like this." "Don't talk. Let me treat your wounds. Do you have bandages at home?" Wang Zhong squatted by Yi Qianqian's side. Her broken arm was still bleeding. It was hard to imagine that a woman with such serious injuries could still be standing. "I have obtained the blood of beast men before, so my physique is not ordinary. This kind of injury is bearable for me," Yi Qianqian said. She leaned on the bed and slowly stood up. We go out first. I remember there is a medicine box outside. There are bandages inside. Okay, you bear with it." They opened the door and went to the hall. The hall was big and clean. There were some bloodstains on the floor. Wang Zhong let Yi Qianqian sleep on the sofa in the hall. Under Yi Qianqian's guidance, they quickly found a medicine box. Opening the medicine box, there were half a roll of bandages and some iodophor alcohol. After treating Yi Qianqian's wounds, Wang Zhong looked at the scene downstairs and said, "There are too many zombies. I don't know how it became like this. There were no zombies before." Yi Qianqian's face was full of worry. "The food at home was taken by me and my sister last time. So we don't have anything to eat?" Wang Zhong said. "There are a lot of residents on this floor. Why don't you go next door?" "Okay." Wang Zhong nodded. This was the only way now. "All right, give me that hammer so I can defend myself," Wang Zhong said. "It's not that I don't want to give it to you, but the hammer and I have already fused." Yi Qianqian stared at Wang Zhong and took out the hammer. "Try and see if you can lift it." Wang Zhong knew from Ni Shaoqin that a lot of equipment will fuse with the original owner once it is obtained. When the original owner dies, the equipment will disappear. Now that he heard this, Wang Zhong curiously tried tapping the hammer. Heavy. It was too heavy. He could not lift it. This hammer was only as big as an ordinary claw hammer, but it was very heavy. "You can't lift it. In this world, only I can operate it. This is also the rule of these equipment." Wang Zhong nodded and gave up the idea of lifting the hammer. Then, Yi Qianqian flipped her hand and took out a crossbow. "This is the crossbow I made. Take it." "Where did you put all these equipment? Can you summon them at any time?" Wang Zhong asked. "We put all these equipment in different spaces. Different spaces can only store equipment, but not things in the real world. Every space is different. The bigger the space, the more crystals it needs." Yi Qianqian lay on the sofa and found a comfortable position. She said weakly, "I need to rest for a while. Wang Yan, I'm sorry. I don't have the strength to go find food with you." "It's okay. Let me do it." With a sigh, Wang Zhong went to the kitchen and found a fruit knife and hammer. He looked around the kitchen and picked up a pot lid. The lid was about 60 centimeters in diameter. It could be used as a shield in front of him. So miserable. "I'll just make do with it." Wang Zhong felt that he had returned to the time before liberation. His luck was bad at the beginning. He had no exchange points and did not know the secret of the crystals in the zombies' heads. After that, he struggled to survive. When he finally got shelter, his camp was destroyed in a few days. Miserable, too miserable. He knew that life would be miserable, but this was too miserable. Not only did he return to the time before liberation, there were even zombies downstairs. But no matter how miserable it was, he had to smile and live. "I'm going out." Wang Zhong took the only equipment he had and walked out. Fortunately, the zombies outside were not difficult to deal with. The main problem was that they were too slow. He could kill them with a stab to the head. This building was obviously a high-end residential area. Wang Zhong was secretly surprised. It seemed that Yi Qianqian and her sister made a lot of money from live streaming. They could even afford such a high-end residential area. Now that he thought about it, before the apocalypse, the sisters' live streaming traffic was very high. Many of his junior high school classmates gave them gifts. Every time the students who gave them gifts came to the classroom in the morning, they would excitedly shout, "Yesterday, little Qianqian shouted 666 to me again. Thank you, brother." From this, it could be seen that Yi Qianqian's market was very wide. Coming to the opposite room, Wang Zhong took out the hammer and smashed the door handle. Bang bang bang. Just like that, a day of searching for supplies began. He searched the other rooms on the same floor. Although there were many supplies, there was not much food. After all, it had been more than a year since the apocalypse. Even if there was food in some places, except for canned food and vacuum-packaged food, most of the food had expired. Therefore, Wang Zhong only found a few bags of snacks and some old rice. He collected a lot of water, which was the drinking water of every household. After moving the supplies back, Wang Zhong found that Yi Qianqian had fallen asleep. With a sigh, Wang Zhong began to make a fire. But this residential area was too high-end. Natural gas was used here. Now that there was no water or electricity, natural gas was needless to say. "I can only find some wood to make a fire." Wang Zhong entered the bedroom, removed the wooden board on the bed, and began to make a fire. "How am I going to live in the future?" Wang Zhong looked at some moldy rice and fell into deep thought. Chapter 319. In the following days, other than searching for food in the building, Wang Zhong also observed the zombie horde downstairs. There were too many zombies and there was no end to them. Even if Yi Qianqian was in her best condition, she would have to kneel down if she went downstairs. The only good news was that Yi Qianqian's injuries were slowly recovering. If it was an ordinary person, they would have already bled too much or died tragically from inflammation when they encountered an injury like a severed arm. But Yi Qianqian would not. Just like what she said, she had the blood of beast men in her body. Her blood was endless and she would not lose too much blood under normal circumstances. Unless her head was chopped off, she would lose too much blood. As for infection, that would not happen. The blood of beast men was wild and domineering. Infection would not affect her. Because of that, Yi Qianqian managed to survive without much medicine. 3 months later, Yi Qianqian had recovered about 70 to 80% and was able to get out of bed. Looking at the endless zombie horde outside the window, Yi Qianqian started to cry. There were too many zombies. Even if it was her, she would not be able to kill her way out. "I noticed that the zombies are moving. Let's wait patiently." Wang Zhong patted Yi Qianqian's shoulder and said helplessly, "Okay." Yi Qianqian leaned on Wang Zhong's shoulder and slowly fell asleep. During this period of time, the two of them were alone. They had already developed feelings for each other. So the two of them did not avoid anything. In the blink of an eye, another 3 months had passed. "There are too many zombies. Why haven't we left?" Yi Qianqian said while drinking a thin porridge. "Sigh." Wang Zhong sighed. Although the zombie horde was moving, there were too many of them. After walking for 3 months, they still could not see the end of it. During this period of time, they ate less and less. In order to survive, Wang Zhong placed a lot of basins on the roof to collect water when it rained. Although the water problem was solved, there was less and less food. In order to save food, they could only eat porridge every day. Wang Yan, are we going to die here? Yi Qianqian asked. Don't worry. Even if we die, there will be a next time. Wang Zhong said. Next time? Rebirth? During this period, Wang Zhong and Yi Qianqian chatted a lot. He also told her a story about Wang Zhong's time travel to relieve her boredom. Yes, there will be a next time. All right. Yi Qianqian smiled. Do you know why I'm doing live streaming? Didn't you say that it's a hobby? Other than that, there's another reason. It's because my family is very poor that I started live streaming to earn money. Yi Qianqian leaned against the window and cried. Tell me, isn't this a bad thing? There's nothing good about it. Perhaps Yi Qianqian knew that they wouldn't survive, so she chatted a lot. What happened when they were young, what happened in their family. In order to find topics to talk about, Yi Qianqian also talked a lot about the apocalypse. After listening to Yi Qianqian's explanation, Wang Zhong realized that other than her and Zhang Jianxiang, there were many other experts in other places. These experts were the lucky ones in the post-apocalyptic world. Most of the exchange centers had descended near them. After obtaining the crystals, these people had embarked on the path of the strong. In the blink of an eye, another half a year had passed. This year, they finally ran out of food. Wang Yan, speaking of which, you're really unlucky to not be able to exchange for anything good. Yi Qianqian smiled and poured the remaining porridge in the pot to Wang Zhong. Qianqian, what's wrong with you? Looking at Yi Qianqian's thin face, Wang Zhong was puzzled. I'm not hungry. I've been feeling unwell for the past few days. Wang Zhong understood. Yi Qianqian was worried that there wasn't enough food, so she gave the remaining porridge to Wang Zhong. I'm going to sleep for a while. Yi Qianqian said as she lay on the bed and fell asleep. Looking at the remaining porridge, Wang Zhong didn't eat it and laid on the side to rest. He didn't know how much time had passed. After living here for so long, he had long lost the concept of time. When he woke up, Wang Zhong looked to the side and saw that Yi Qianqian's body was already stiff. She must have left during the night. When she left, there was a faint smile on her face. She looked very peaceful. Qianqian. Wang Zhong looked at her corpse and didn't know what to say. There was a tearing feeling in his stomach. Hungry, too hungry. I didn't expect to die so tragically in this round. I actually starved to death. Lying on the sofa, Wang Zhong was very hesitant and had the urge to commit suicide. However, he didn't know if suicide was within the rules of the game. He felt that it was better to let nature take its course. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Zhong felt that his strength was getting weaker and weaker. Finally, he fell into a deep sleep. Reincarnated character died. 6,000 experience points dropped. Opening his eyes, Wang Zhong looked at the familiar ceiling in front of him. I actually starved to death. Wang Zhong sat up from the bed and touched his stomach. Although he wasn't hungry, the world in the game was too realistic. The feeling of starving to death was still there. Hence, he walked out of the house. Brother Wang, why can't you sleep? At this time, Shen Shuangshuang was sweeping the floor and asked curiously. I'm a little hungry. Wang Zhong walked to the kitchen and started to fry the steak. Hungry. Shen Shuangshuang was a little confused. They had just finished eating. How could he be hungry so soon? Men really have a big appetite. Shen Shuangshuang could only comfort herself like this. After eating a piece of steak and feeling the fullness in his stomach, Wang Zhong realized that he was really full this time. After packing up, Wang Zhong ignored the surprised Shen Shuangshuang and returned to his house. He didn't enter the game. Instead, he recalled his previous experience in the game. It was too realistic. The scenes in the game were vivid in his mind. Monsters, zombies, bats. Ni Xiaoqin's head hanging on the hood of the car, Yi Jingjing's head that was kicked away, Yi Qianqian who starved to death, and that arrogant Zhang Jianxiang. Strictly speaking, he couldn't be blamed for losing the game this time. Since he was young, he had tried to practice martial arts. In the end, He realized that the world was not suitable for practicing martial arts. Although he had lived a luxurious life since he was young, his physical fitness was not strong. The physical fitness of the body couldn't be made up by eating. It had to be made up by secondary development. Unfortunately, when the apocalypse came, he was only 14 years old. He didn't have time to develop. One of his hands was smashed on the spot. After that, he could only live a life of hiding. The most important thing was that his luck was really bad. After 20 consecutive lottery draws, all of them were trash. According to previous experience, the older I am, the more experience I will lose after losing the game. So this time, I lost 5,000 experience points. The game this time is a bit difficult. If I enter the game again this time, even if I find the exchange office, my luck will still be this bad. Wang Zhong now felt that the game was getting more and more difficult as he went deeper into the game. Chapter 320. Congratulations, Mr. Wang. You have a fat son. As Wang Zhong landed on the ground, the nurse hugged Wang Zhong and congratulated him. Ha ha, you look exactly like me. I didn't expect that I, Wang Debao, would have such a fat son at 40 years old. Ha ha ha. Wife, it's been hard on you. Wang Zhong calmly looked at his familiar parents and sighed. In this life, I will change my fate. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was 10 years old. Just like in his previous life, Wang Zhong had increased his appetite in this life. Every day, he would crazily eat 5 bottles of milk, 5 large steaks, and 3 bowls of black chicken soup. However, his body was still thin and weak. Is this the legendary body that won't get fat no matter how much you eat? Wang Zhong was somewhat helpless. His thin and weak body caused him to be at a disadvantage in the early days of the post-apocalyptic world. Although he had memories of his past martial arts, due to the difference in strength, these martial arts techniques were effective against people of similar size, but they were useless against people with truly strong physiques. Fortunately, he now had the advantage and knew the situation after the post-apocalyptic world. When he was 8 years old, Wang Zhong knew that his father, Wang Debao, would meet a great calamity and die miserably. After Wang Debao's death, because his mother didn't know anything, the family fell into decline. The mother and son ate steamed buns and salted vegetables every day. This time, he had to prepare in advance. Finally, the day of Wang Debao's death arrived. Wife, I'm going out. I might come back late tonight. Don't wait for me to eat. Early in the morning, Wang Debao put on his clothes and ate breakfast and prepared to go out. When Wang Zhong was about to go out, he suddenly pulled his father and said, "Dad, I want to talk to you about something." "Son, you still have to go to school." "Why? Do you want me to send you to school?" Wang Debao laughed. "No, this afternoon, the school is looking for your parents. Come back early. Our family will drive to school." "Son, did you cause trouble?" Yongzi curiously asked. "Of course not. The teacher asked you to go over to talk about something." Wang Zhong couldn't find a good excuse and could only say so. After all, he couldn't just say, "Dad, there will be monsters coming out of our neighborhood at night. You will die if you pass by there." If he said that, it would definitely be like the last time. He might even die in an accident. "Talk about business? What do you want to talk about? Teacher didn't inform us?" Yang Zi asked. "It's true. I don't have to lie to you, do I?" Wang Zhong put on a pitiful look. "Their parents are already there. If you don't go, it won't be good. Then let your mother go. I have a very important business to discuss today." After saying that, Wang Debao patted Wang Zhong's head. "Son, be good. Mom gave you a present tonight." "Dad," Wang Zhong still wanted to say something, but unfortunately, Wang Debao had already walked out. Wang Zhong's face turned ugly. Even this can't persuade Wang Debao? It seems like this business is really important to him. However, no matter how important it was, he still had to destroy it. "That's the only way," Wang Zhong said to himself. "Son, I'll go to school in the afternoon. Yang Zi put on her shoes and prepared to send Wang Zhong to school. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Wang Zhong came to the field and looked around. Soon, he saw 3 fat guys surrounding a little boy and provoking him. Feng Xiang, did you bring the money I asked you to bring yesterday? A big fat guy pushed the little boy. These 3 fatties were all senior students, and they often bullied other students. Woo, I don't have money. The little boy called Feng Xiang directly cried. Pa. The big fat guy slapped Feng Xiang's glasses away. Damn, 4-eyed boy, you're getting more and more disobedient, right? I asked you to bring money to show filial piety to us, but you're actually disobedient? Brother Jie, woo, don't. I really don't have money. Feng Xiang cried. Beat him. The big fat guy continued to beat him, but at this time, a brick smashed towards the big fat guy's head. Io, who hit me? The big fat guy's head was smashed until it was bleeding. He turned his head and saw that it was a little boy he didn't know who hit him. Damn, who are you? How dare you hit me? The person who hit him was naturally Wang Zhong. You bully people, you deserve to be hit. How arrogant! The 3 fat boys were infuriated as they charged towards Wang Zhong. The 4 of them instantly wrestled together. Against these 3 kids, Wang Zhong was not afraid of anything. It was very simple, because he was ruthless enough, plus he had some martial arts foundation, so he didn't suffer much. After fighting for more than 20 minutes, the teachers finally heard the news and came. Originally, the teachers heard that Wang Zhong was fighting with 3 famous kids who liked to bully other kids, so they thought that he would be at a disadvantage. But when they came, the 3 fat guys were sitting on the ground crying. Their heads were smashed with blood. Wang Zhong of course didn't have a good time, his face was bruised and swollen. Wang Yan, go to my office. The teacher scolded, the 3 of you, go to the infirmary quickly. Wang Zhong followed. His class teacher was a male teacher with the surname Li. Usually, because Wang Zhong's grades were good, he treated Wang Zhong very well. But this time he was very angry. Pa. Once he entered the office, Teacher Li slammed the desk. Wang Yan, why did you fight? The 3 of them bullied me. Just because they bullied you, you can hit them with a brick? You even hit them to death. Look at what you hit them to death. Teacher Li, Wang Zhong raised his head and looked at Teacher Li with bright eyes. Then call my parents over. Teacher Li was stunned. Usually, students were afraid of calling their parents. But now, Wang Yan took the initiative to call his parents. But this child asked him to call his parents. He didn't want to. It's already so late. Why call your parents? Tomorrow, Teacher Li said. Wang Zhong was speechless. He tried so hard to hit those kids, but it was all to get his father back. Teacher, call my parents, or else how will you scold me? As a teacher, you have to be responsible. You child, you're too strange. Whether I call your parents or not, I know in my heart. I don't need you to tell me. But teacher, you have to call me your parents this time and scold me harshly. Please. Teacher Li looked at Wang Zhong. Wang Yan, are you okay? What can happen to me? Let's talk about this tomorrow. Teacher Li waved his hand, still unwilling to call his parents. After all, school was about to end. This is troublesome. Wang Zhong frowned. This is the only way. This is the last way. If this method doesn't work, he can only call his father back by jumping off the building. So, he dug into his pocket and took out a wallet. Usually, because his family was well-to-do, he had a lot of pocket money. But he didn't spend like other children, he saved it all. Now was the time to use his money. Pa. 10 bills were thrown on the table. Wang Zhong said, Teacher Li, call my parents back home. What is the meaning of this? Teacher Li frowned. In order to call your parents back, you want to bribe me? What do you think I am? Wang Zhong didn't say a word as he threw another 10 bills onto the table. Teacher Li, this matter is very important to me. You only need to move your pinky and I'll be able to call my parents back. Student Wang. Teacher Li angrily slammed the table. Please respect yourself. Am I that kind of person? Pa. Wang Zhong threw another 10 bills. Here is 3,000. As long as you agree, I will give you another 3,000 in my phone. Student Wang, you are a good judge of character. Teacher Li kept the money without leaving a trace, coughed and said, Do you want me to know about this? Wang Zhong smiled. Of course. Although he paid 6,000, as long as his father didn't die, they were still rich. Afterward, Teacher Li gave Wang Debao a call. Mr. Wang, something happened to your child today. Hurry and come over. According to Wang Zhong's instructions, Teacher Li purposely made the matter very serious. At this time, Wang Debao was on his way to find a client to discuss business. When he heard that his son got into a fight at school, 3 against 1, and even got injured. What? Is the injury serious? Hurry and come over. If you don't come over, it will be too late. This sounded like it was the last time to see him. Wang Debao's heart went cold. I know. I will come over immediately. After that, he quickly called Yang Zi. The two of them rushed to school together. Thank you, teacher. There is one more thing that I need to ask of you. Wang Zhong transferred the money to Teacher Li. Be sure to let us go home at 8 o'clock. Okay. Teacher Li nodded. Although it was a bit strange, as the saying goes, if you take someone's money, you have to help them. So be it. When the two of them arrived at school, it was already 6 o'clock. Following Wang Zhong's instructions, Teacher Li took the opportunity to make a fuss. He fully described how Wang Zhong acted bravely for a just cause, and how he bravely fought against the 3 bullying children. Of course, in the end, he also suggested to bring Wang Zhong to the hospital for a checkup. When they came out of school, it was already 8 o'clock. Wang Debao was somewhat unhappy. Such a small matter and still let us rush over. Do you have nothing better to do? Don't say too much. Teacher Li is just being kind. Yang Zi comforted. How can I not be unhappy? Just now, the secretary called and said that the 2 clients canceled the order. Damn, this is a project that our company has been working on for months. Now it's gone. Wang Zhong said from the side, Dad, money is just a worldly possession. Think about it. Maybe you lost the money and got something else? This child, only know how to comfort people. Wang Debao shook his head helplessly. It took more than 2 hours to drive home. But when they were about to enter the neighborhood, they found that the whole road was blocked. We live inside. Why is the road blocked? Wang Debao got out of the car and asked the police who blocked the road. There is a special situation in the neighborhood where you live. Quickly leave here. After that, 3 military vehicles quickly drove over. One by one, soldiers came down from the vehicles and ran inside without saying anything. There were too many soldiers. There were even helicopters flying in the sky. Run. Monster, there is a monster. One by one, people ran out in panic. Chapter 321. Wang Debao and Yang Zi's face changed when they saw the crowd that was escaping from the crack. Something is wrong. Wang Debao got into the car. He does big business and is very smart. He made a prompt decision to leave this place. Just as the car drove out, Yang Zi saw a video news about their neighborhood's entrance. In the news, it was about the insect monster that appeared in the crack in their neighborhood. Yang Zi was shocked when she saw this scene. Something really happened in our neighborhood. A lot of people died. Wang Debao stopped the car by the roadside and quickly looked at his phone. His face suddenly became ugly. He recalled that after he finished dealing with the customers, it was about time for him to go home. If he went to the neighborhood's entrance, wouldn't he have encountered those monsters? Looking at the crowd that was directly swallowed by the insects in the video, Wang Debao was scared. Fortunately, I didn't go to talk about business. Otherwise, I'm afraid something really would have happened. Wang Debao said. After that, the family was arranged to stay in a nearby hotel by the government just like in his previous life. Dad, Now that something like this happened to you, you have to be careful of the company. If someone messes around in the company when you are not around, it will be troublesome." The next morning, Wang Zhong reminded Wang Debao. Wang Debao smiled and thought that his son was thinking a lot. Although he didn't put Wang Zhong's words in his heart, but after thinking about it, the company was indeed a bit strange recently. His secretary told him that the two partners found excuses to not check the accounts properly and recently took a lot of the company's investment projects. The more Wang Debao thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. He didn't rest anymore and immediately drove to the company. For the next 2 days, Wang Debao kept checking the company's accounts. Finally, he found out that something was wrong. His two partners, who were his brothers since childhood, actually got together behind his back and wanted to seize the company's power. Fortunately, he found out early and stopped these secret actions in time, saving a lot of losses. Under Wang Debao's manipulation, the two partners were finally kicked out of the company. 3 months later, after settling the company's matters, he decided to buy another house. "Dad, buy this neighborhood." Wang Zhong took out a map and pointed at the neighborhood behind Yi Chanqian's house and said, "The villa here is good." "What's good about it? It's so far from your school." Wang Debao wasn't very happy. "Dad, it's really not far. I like it. You can buy it here." The villa that Wang Zhong was referring to was not Yi Chanqian's villa. At that time, her villa was also rented to someone else. It was specially rented for live streaming purposes. At this time, their villa was not rented out to the public. The villa he was referring to was a villa in the same neighborhood. At that time, there were 3 exchange offices in Yi Chanqian's territory. The best one was in Yi Chanqian's house, and the other 2 were in other villas in the neighborhood. During this period of time, he had observed that there was a 5th villa next to Yi Chanqian's. This villa would have an exchange office when the time came. Currently, this villa was for sale. Of course, Wang Debao didn't like the villa here. It didn't affect him much, but for Wang Zhong, school was far away. However, under Wang Zhong's persistent pestering, Wang Debao finally agreed to buy the villa. Thank you, Daddy, you're the best." Just like that, Wang Zhong moved in. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was 10 years old. At this age, his parents were finally relieved to let him go out alone. During this period of time, Wang Zhong explored the city that they lived in from the inside out. From his observation, Yi Chanqian and her sister didn't seem to have moved in at this time. That's right, according to Yi Chanqian's own story, she and her sister Yi Jingjing were still in school. At first, they were handing out flyers by the roadside. 2 years later, they started to play live streaming. Wang Zhong thought to himself and said to the taxi driver, "Driver, let's go to the Heavenly Court neighborhood." The Heavenly Court neighborhood was the neighborhood where his family lived in his previous life after falling from grace. He wanted to go there now because he wanted to see Ni Shaoqin. Wang Zhong had a deep impression of this little girl. With the arrival of the apocalypse, she would be a good helper. When he arrived at the neighborhood, it was already evening. Ni Shaoqin should have returned home from school. Sure enough, after waiting in the car for half an hour, Wang Zhong saw Ni Shaoqin carrying her school bag and skipping into the neighborhood. Although Wang Zhong really wanted to go over and chat with Ni Shaoqin, he still held himself back. A butterfly's wings could cause a tsunami. Similarly, he didn't know what would happen if he got to know Ni Shaoqin in advance. Therefore, he didn't go there. This time, he only came to find the way. In the following time, Wang Zhong secretly used his pocket money to rent a villa nearby. Of course, he didn't rent it to live in, but to stock up on food, water, and various daily necessities. Of course, in order to rent and stock up on daily necessities, he needed a lot of money. For the sake of getting money, Wang Zhong decided to go all the way and secretly used his mother's bank card. Anyway, his mother was careless and had a lot of cards. Sometimes, she couldn't even tell how much money she had in her card. The following days were much better. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was 12 years old. That night, Wang Zhong opened the Douyin live streaming room on his phone and searched for the editor-in-chief, Xiao Chanqian. Sure enough, he found Yi Qianqian's live streaming room. Hello everyone, I'm your host, Xiao Qianqian. Please follow me, thank you. Obviously, Yi Qianqian was still very young at this time. Because she didn't know how to speak during the live streaming, she was scolded by many people. You're wearing so many clothes. No wonder no one watches your live streaming. You look okay. 150 yuan, no more. I think I've seen you in an alley before. The comment section was full of obscenities, which made Yi Qianqian lose her mood to live stream. But at this time, a plane came over as a reward. Wang Yan rewards host, Xiao Qianqian, a jet. In an instant, a plane flew out on the screen. This was a virtual gift in Douyin. A plane cost 10,000 yuan. As the plane flew out, the comment section exploded. Damn, Tycoon Bro is here. This costs 10,000 yuan. He's so rich. The bullet screen exploded in an instant. Following Wang Zhong's reward, many people also came to the room. At this moment, Yi Qianqian was also stunned. She hadn't been streaming for long. Every time she streamed, the gifts she received would at most be a few dozen yuan. But this time, she directly received 10,000 yuan and attracted many viewers. At this time, Wang Zhong sent a message. I believe in you. You will definitely be popular. Do your best. Yi Qianqian quickly said, Thank you, Wang Yan. I will definitely work hard. Thank you so much. Before Yi Qianqian became strong, she was still quite polite. Seeing Yi Qianqian nodding and bowing, and thinking of her domineering appearance in his previous life, Wang Zhong felt a little funny. Chapter 322. Sis, is this Wang Yan guy his real name? He gave you so many tips in one go? After Yi Qianqian went offline, her sister Yi Jingjing couldn't help but ask. Yi Qianqian took off her earphones. How would I know? But to be able to give so many tips in one go, he must be rich. I'll thank him again the next time I do a live broadcast. Yeah, I want to do a live broadcast too, Yi Jingjing said as she looked at their living quarters. As they had just started their live broadcast, they hadn't earned much money yet. The two of them were still living in a small house. Yi Qianqian thought for a while and said, Sis, how do you think we can become popular? Why do some people become popular so easily? We've worked so hard to broadcast for so long, but we only get a few hundred viewers each time. Yi Qianqian felt that if this continued, she would starve to death. Do we really have to wear fewer clothes to become popular? Yi Qianqian was hesitant. It's not that easy. There are so many female streamers, and there are so many of them. How many of them can become popular? Most of them might even have their rooms blocked. Yi Jingjing thought for a while and continued, if we want to become popular now, we have to do something unique. But there are too many unique streamers. Yi Qianqian muttered. During this period, she observed many streamers. Some of them live-streamed couples quarreling and became popular. Some of them live-streamed eating bugs and garbage and became popular. She thought for a long time, but she couldn't think of a way to become popular. That's true. It seems that most of the streamers have done it before. Yi Jingjing sat on the bed helplessly. Sis, I'm tired. I'll sleep for a while. Yi Jingjing looked like she was exhausted. She immediately fell asleep and lay down. Looking at her sister sleeping soundly, Yi Qianqian suddenly had an idea. Yeah, I can do a live broadcast of my sister sleeping. I don't think anyone does that. Yi Qianqian immediately thought of this. These days, there were all kinds of streamers, but no one would do a live broadcast of sleeping. Although it might be a little boring, what if it happened? This was a very novel thing. Hence, Yi Qianqian turned on the live broadcast and pointed the camera at Yi Jingjing. She had even prepared a video of her entering the room. I'm so tired. Since no one is watching my live broadcast, let's see if anyone is watching me when I'm asleep. After he was done, he started the live broadcast. Of course, just in case, Yi Qianqian promised that her sister would not reveal anything. On this day, Wang Zhong used his mother's card to buy a large truck from a truck company. He had thought about it. With the advent of the apocalypse, he needed a good means of transportation. This truck was not expensive, so it was very suitable to buy it. Of course, he didn't have a driver's license, so when the truck was pulled back, it was parked in front of his rented house. The salesperson who was selling the truck was also very curious. This teenage boy was too strange. He said that he wanted to buy a big truck for his parents. Initially, he had thought that he was here to cause trouble. He did not expect that he would pay the deposit on the spot without even returning the price. Nouveau riche. He sighed. After the truck arrived, Wang Zhong planned to enter Yi Qianqian's live stream to see how she was doing. Who would have thought that her live stream would become popular all of a sudden, and she would even become a hot topic on Douyin. At this time, Wang Zhong was also curious about how Yi Qianqian became so popular. After taking a closer look, Wang Zhong was overjoyed. There was nothing in Yi Qianqian's live stream except for Yi Jingjing's sleeping live stream. But such an ordinary live stream had hundreds of thousands of views, and it was still rising. The amount of tips was hundreds of times more than her previous live streams. Wang Zhong calculated that she had earned hundreds of thousands of yuan from this live stream. She could really make money while lying down. This time, Wang Zhong did not disturb them. After a year, the sisters, just like in his previous life, used this live stream to become popular all of a sudden. Many people even imitated them on the internet. But as more and more people imitated them, they soon lost their novelty. But now, Yi Qianqian was popular. Now, when Wang Zhong went to school, many of his classmates would show off how much they had tipped Yi Qianqian. Although they had been frugal this week, eating instant noodles every day, they would hear Yi Qianqian shout, "Thank you, brother, 666. They were very happy. It was also this year that Yi Qianqian finally signed a contract with a big management company and successfully rented the villa. The two sisters lived there from then on. On this day, Wang Zhong tipped Yi Qianqian with 2 jets. "Thank you, Wang Yan, for the 2 jets. Cute." Yi Qianqian said happily to the screen. Her live stream was very popular now, and there were many big fans who tipped her frequently. But she was most grateful to Wang Zhong. It was very simple. This was the first fan who tipped her so much. Wang Zhong sent a message, "This is my chat account." Because he had tipped a lot, he had the opportunity to add Yi Qianqian's account. Yi Qianqian did not hesitate to add Wang Zhong's information. Wang Zhong did not hide his address and said directly, "I saw you at the door last time. I didn't know that we were neighbors." Yi Qianqian was very surprised. Oh my God, this fan was actually her neighbor. In principle, she did not like to have any interactions with her fans offline. These days, there were all kinds of birds. Some people tipped a lot, and who knew what they would do to you offline. But she did not expect Wang Zhong to send a message, "I'm already at your building. This fan called Wang Yan is actually at our building." In the house, Yi Qianqian said to Yi Jingjing. Yi Jingjing was much braver than Yi Qianqian. Hearing this, she excitedly ran to the window and said, "I want to see who it is." Looking carefully, it was a kid who looked like a junior high school student. "Damn, it's really a kid," Yi Jingjing shouted. "It can't be." Yi Qianqian also walked to the window. "Hello." Wang Zhong waved and shouted. "You are Wang Yan?" Yi Qianqian asked. "Yes, my house is there." Wang Zhong pointed not far away. "Come in and sit for a while." Seeing that Wang Zhong was so small, Yi Qianqian's worries disappeared. What could a little brat do to the two of them? Soon, the door opened. What made Wang Zhong surprised was that the person who opened the door was Auntie Li. So Auntie Li is the cleaning auntie who works here. Wang Zhong thought to himself as he politely greeted Auntie Li. This was a strong person in the post-apocalyptic world. Of course, he had to be polite. It was not bad to win a good impression. Wang Zhong thought carefully. Since his luck was so bad, he could only seek the protection of these strong people. It was not that he did not work hard, but his luck was too bad. There was also a humanoid reptile crawling out from a black crevice. It looked like a toad and pounced on anyone it saw. What? What are these? Wang Debao was stunned. He quickly turned his head and shouted at Yongzi, "Wife, close all the anti-theft doors and windows in our house." "No need, I've already closed it." Wang Zhong walked out expressionlessly, holding a machete and a crossbow in his hands. "Son Yu." The couple looked at Wang Zhong in disbelief. They couldn't figure out why Wang Zhong was holding these things. "Son, where did you get these?" Yangzi asked. "Dad, Mom, I used to read some online forums. It said that there are a lot of monsters in this world. To be safe, I secretly saved these things." Wang Zhong calmly said. "Then why didn't you tell us?" Wang Debao looked outside. At this moment, many people were attacked by monsters on the street. There were countless casualties. "If I told you, would you believe me?" Wang Zhong said calmly. He walked to the window and saw the situation outside. The current situation was somewhat different from his previous life. In his previous life, there were no black cracks in the camp. But now, just 1 or 2 kilometers away, there were 2 black cracks. However, the monsters that crawled out of these 2 black cracks were not very strong. It seems that after Doomsday, Yi Chanxian and the others mastered the method to destroy these black cracks. At the same time, a message was sent. Just like in his previous life, this message said that there were deadly bacteria in the air. Some people would get infected and fall sick. The disease was similar to rabies. It was aggressive. It's so itchy. Yongzi looked at the message and was stunned. "It's still here." Wang Zhong looked at his mother worriedly. Then he looked at Wang Debao, and his gaze suddenly froze. Wang Debao's neck also had red rashes. "My neck is also itchy." Wang Debao couldn't help but scratch his neck. "Dad, Mom, you. Son." Yongzi cried. We might have been infected with the virus mentioned in the message." Wang Debao's eyes were red and swollen. "Son, your mom and I will go hide in the house for a while to prevent the virus from infecting you. If anything happens, call us." "I know." Wang Zhong didn't know what to say. He could only nod. "I will bring you food." Wang Debao and Yongzi entered the house. After a while, Wang Debao's crying voice came from the house. "Wife, why did you bite me? Why?" "Son, remember, don't come in," Wang Debao screamed at the top of his lungs. At this time, Wang Debao already knew the consequences of the virus. In fact, these days, Wang Zhong also thought about strengthening his parents' body's resistance to the virus. Therefore, they ate a lot of supplements. But it seems that it was useless. They were still infected. It seems that the virus is not based on a person's physique. An hour later, Wang Zhong entered the house. He killed 2 zombies and obtained 2 crystals. The most important thing now is to kill the zombies and low-level monsters outside and obtain the crystals to gain strength. Wang Zhong walked out of the house and looked at the house of Yi Chanxian and her sister. The door of the house was surrounded by a large group of zombies. Obviously, the sisters and Aunt Li were trapped in the house. To deal with this group of zombies, Wang Zhong was already prepared. Wang Zhong sat in the large truck that had been prepared beforehand and stepped on the accelerator. With a roar, the truck charged forward. There were too many zombies. Many zombies heard the sound and rushed towards the truck. Wang Zhong slammed his foot on the accelerator, slicing all of the incoming zombies in half. The zombies without legs were naturally no longer a threat. Arriving at Yi Chanxian's house, Wang Zhong drove back and forth several times. Finally, there were only a dozen zombies left. "Hey, there is a truck." At this time, Yi Chanxian saw the situation downstairs. "It must be to save us." Yi Jingjing cried with joy. This scene caused Wang Zhong to feel amused. He had met them in his previous life and knew that they were extremely valiant. Truly, the environment could change a person. There were only a dozen zombies left, so there was no need to hide. Wang Zhong got out of the car and cut down the zombies in front of the door. With the previous experience, Wang Zhong fully understood the weaknesses of these zombies. Therefore, it was not difficult to deal with these slow zombies. After dealing with the surrounding zombies, Wang Zhong climbed up to the roof of the car. In the distance, there were another 30 zombies surrounding them. They were lying on the roof of the car, struggling to grab Wang Zhong, who was on the roof. Wang Zhong grabbed a spear from the roof of the car and stabbed it at the zombies surrounding the car. Poochie poochie. Like a pierced watermelon, the heads were pierced one by one. Black blood flowed on the ground, emitting a bloody smell. This guy is so strong? Yi Qianqian was shocked. Blurg. Yi Jingjing could not stand it anymore and directly vomited on the ground. After a dozen minutes, the zombie group was completely dealt with. Wang Zhong jumped out of the car and began to pick up the spoils of war. He was holding a bag in his hand. After prying open the zombie's head, he threw the crystals into the bag. After obtaining so many crystals again, Wang Zhong was excited. In his previous life, because of his bad luck, he did not have any exchange points. He had a miserable life and missed the opportunity to develop. This was also the reason why his previous life was so miserable. This time, he obtained the crystals so quickly. He wanted to develop properly. The travel bag was now heavy. He could not lift it with his strength. Therefore, Wang Zhong dragged the travel bag to Yi Jingjing's door. Open the door, I'm here to save you. The other party was a human. Yi Qianqian of course went downstairs to open the door. Wang Yan, why did you put so many zombies' brains in your bag? Also, why are all your trucks modified? You seem to have prepared for this. Yi Jingjing also ran downstairs and said. Aunt Li looked at Wang Zhong with a face of surprise, but there was a hint of vigilance in her eyes. Aunt Li looked old, but this was also her advantage. She had seen many people. She knew that in this post-apocalyptic world, the law and enforcers would lose their effect. The result would be the collapse of social order. Wang Zhong closed the door and looked at the three of them. I can tell you some things later. It can also make you stronger. You can live better in this world. But first, you have to listen to me. Yi Qianqian's face became guarded. The situation outside, do you know what is going on? If you guys frequently browse the internet, you'll realize that many disasters have already happened in various parts of the world. Over the years, I've already made preparations just in case. I never thought that such a situation would really happen. After Wang Zhong finished speaking, he directly headed upstairs to Yi Qianqian's apartment. Hey, why are you going upstairs? Yi Qianqian shouted. You will know in a while. These strong people in the future were still weak. Of course, he would not explain too much. Whoever did not listen to him was courting death. Soon, Wang Zhong arrived at the exchange point in Yi Qianqian's room. Chapter 324. Looking at the shining exchange points in front of him, Wang Zhong took a deep breath. This exchange point was obviously a level 3 exchange point. For the early days of the apocalypse, this exchange point was already considered good. However, his luck in his previous life was too bad and the items he exchanged were all trash. I wonder how my luck will be in this life. Wang Zhong stretched out his hand and a white light enveloped him. Inserting the crystals one by one into the card slot, the exchange items appeared in front of him and at the bottom was the lottery. Who made these things? It's like a game? Wang Zhong cursed as he started to prepare for the lottery. After all, the lottery was the only way to win big. After inserting 10 crystals, he began the lottery. Congratulations, you've received a bottle of mineral water. It was a familiar feeling. Wang Zhong gawked, and his expression suddenly turned ugly. He continued the lottery. Congratulations, you've received a nail clipper. Congratulations, you've received an ear pick. Congratulations, you've received a pair of slippers. Congratulations, you've received a milk bottle. F***CK. It's the same as before. Wang Zhong could not help but curse. Sure enough, although he had changed a lot of things in this life, his luck was still the same as before. How could he survive in the post-apocalyptic world if he did not do so? Could it be that he could only rely on a woman to survive? Currently, he only had about 50 crystals left. Without a choice, Wang Zhong could only withdraw from the exchange point. When he went out, Yi Chanqian and her sister, as well as Auntie Li, were standing in the room looking at the white light curiously. Wang Yan, did you just enter the white light? Yi Chanqian looked at Wang Zhong with bright eyes. Her eyes were filled with interest. She felt that the white light seemed to have some secret. This young man must know. Wang Zhong pondered for a moment and said, "This place is the exchange point." After that, Wang Zhong explained briefly and said to Yi Chanqian, "You can enter the lottery. These crystals are for you." Since he could not get anything, he could only let Yi Chanqian have it. "This is the reward you got from the lottery? Isn't it too lousy?" Yi Jingjing picked up the pile of rewards Wang Zhong had drawn and was a little speechless. "It feels like a waste of time." "Not necessarily. Although water isn't worth much, we are currently lacking water and food. These are still very useful," Auntie Li said. "Yi Chanqian, you can go in now." Wang Zhong passed the crystal to Yi Chanqian. Yi Chanqian nodded. She had no reason not to trust Wang Zhong. As soon as Yi Chanqian went in, Wang Zhong looked at Aunt Li and Yi Jingjing and said, "Next, we will continue to hunt zombies and monsters. The monsters we kill will have this thing in their heads. Our goal is to obtain these crystals." Yi Jingjing nodded in confusion. Aunt Li hesitated and said, I want to go home. My son is still at home. There are zombies outside. If you go out now, you will die," Wang Zhong said. Yi Jingjing also lowered her head. "My mother is also at home. When you have all drawn the lottery, you can go if you want to." Wang Zhong knew that they had all gone back, so he wasn't worried. After talking for a while, he was a little thirsty. He subconsciously took the mineral water that he had drawn from the lottery. He unscrewed the cap and took a sip. The mineral water that he had drawn from the lottery was much better than the ordinary water at home. It was sweet and tasted very much like... Wang Zhong's eyes narrowed. Why did this taste so much like the spiritual root water? Suddenly, he felt a stream of qi slowly rising in his body. If he hadn't cultivated qi, he wouldn't be able to feel this qi. But Wang Zhong had cultivated it before. At this moment, he felt the qi flowing. This bottle of water was actually spiritual root water. Wang Zhong stared at the water in his hand in shock and suddenly laughed. Last time, because he was dissatisfied with his bad luck, he threw a lot of the garbage that he had drawn from the lottery to some unknown corner, so that it didn't touch the water. But this time, due to a freak combination of factors, he found out the secret of the water. Since this water is spirit root water, then the person behind the scenes who created this game, which world is he from? What kind of game is this? Wang Zhong's mind was filled with more and more doubts. He felt that every world mission had something in common. Although he felt strange, this was obviously not the time to think about it. He couldn't wait to drink the mineral water in one gulp, thinking that he should stock up on this mineral water in the future. Not only that, he wanted to taste any food that he had drawn from the lottery. At this time, Yi Chanqian walked out of the white light. She was holding a hammer in her hand and looked a little sluggish. Blacksmith's hammer. Wang Zhong's eyes were burning. Yi Chanqian was really lucky to get the blacksmith's hammer in one go. "Now you know how to use this hammer, right?" Wang Zhong walked over and asked. Yi Chanqian nodded. She was still digesting the information about the hammer in her mind. Blacksmith's hammer. Professional weapon attack. Swing the hammer and release a strong pressure. It can break the defense and also form a pressure defense. Blacksmith profession. With blueprints and materials, it can create any iron weapon. Blueprints already owned. 1. Sharp broadsword blueprint. Requires 10 pounds of iron. 2. Sharp dagger blueprint. Requires 3 pounds of iron, 10 grams of plastic. 3. Crossbow. Stainless steel. 5 pounds. 4. Bow and arrow. Stainless steel. 8 pounds. Yi Chanqian was very strange. She only had a hammer, How could she casually create these things? Currently, this hammer was placed in the otherworldly space equipment slot that she got from the lottery. When she got the hammer, she also got 4 blueprints. According to her understanding, if she wanted to get other blueprints, she had to increase her blacksmith proficiency. After listening to Yi Qianqian's explanation, Wang Zhong's heart moved. He nodded and said, "Blacksmith proficiency, you can try to create a few weapons first." I'll try." Yi Qianqian went downstairs. There were a lot of scrap metal and useless furniture in the storeroom downstairs. She held a pile of iron and with a thought, the blacksmith's hammer smashed towards a pile of iron. The hammer seemed to have some kind of magical power. The moment it smashed down, before it even touched the pile of junk, a piece of iron abruptly changed its shape into the shape of a knife. She continued to smash, 5 times in a row, and a brand new broadsword appeared in her hand. At the same time, a prompt appeared in Yi Qianqian's mind: blacksmith proficiency +1. After successfully creating a weapon, it seems that the blacksmith proficiency will increase. Good, you can create more weapons. Create a crossbow. Currently, he didn't have a gun, so he could only start with a crossbow. This skill of Yi Qianqian's would be very useful for his team in the future. Of course, he would let her practice more. In the future, it would be wonderful if she could equip an entire army with weapons. Yi Qianqian nodded and began to work. As for Wang Zhong, he said to Yi Jingjing and Aunt Li, "If you want to live, you have to kill the monsters and zombies outside and get the crystals." Chapter 325. Hunting zombies. Hearing this word, Yi Jingjing's face was full of fear. Sure enough, before obtaining powerful strength, even the most powerful person in the future would be a coward at this time. You guys will follow behind me and be responsible for cutting open the zombies' heads to get the crystals. Do you understand? I think I understand. Aunt Li said. I want to go out. After dealing with the zombies in an area, you guys can go and dig for the crystals. After Wang Zhong finished speaking, he opened the car door and drove out. Fortunately, this was a good neighborhood. The road here was very wide. Driving a big truck was not a problem. Many people in the neighborhood were still running for their lives. At this time, a couple in pajamas rushed out of a villa. The couple's clothes were stained with blood. Behind them, there were 3 cleaning aunties in maids' clothes chasing after them. This kind of scene was too common. Wang Zhong did not even blink his eyes. At present, he had not grown to the point where he had absolute strength, so he was not interested in saving anyone. Driving the truck, he almost ran into a group of zombies in the neighborhood. A sturdy truck was definitely a good weapon to attack zombies. Of course, another reason was that there were no strong monsters in this place. Otherwise, even a tank would have a hard time here. In my previous life, although I starved to death, but in this life, I want to become stronger. Stepping on the gas pedal, a large group of zombies finally fell to the ground. Help, help! An anxious voice came. Wang Zhong certainly would not casually save anyone. When he was about to leave, he glanced in the rear-view mirror. His eyebrows twitched. It turned out to be this person. Qin Ling was seriously injured. After that, he treated her for a while. Save me, save me! Qin Ling cried and ran over. Behind her, there were 7 or 8 wolf beasts. Although these wolf beasts were about the same size as ordinary wolves, their bite force was very fierce. With one bite, they could easily bite through a person's bones. This woman was actually chased by wolf beasts before. I really don't know how she escaped. Since she was an acquaintance, Wang Zhong decided to save her. After stopping the car, he climbed onto the roof of the car and aimed his crossbow at one of the wolf beasts. Although these wolf beasts were ferocious, their speed was not fast. 3 consecutive crossbow bolts nailed 3 wolf beasts to the ground. Get in! Wang Zhong jumped out of the car and opened the door of the passenger seat. Qin Ling rushed into the front passenger seat in a panic. Save me, save me! Unexpectedly, as soon as they entered the car, Qin Ling screamed. "Pa!" Wang Zhong slapped him. "Shut the F***ck up if you want to live." Who knew Qin Ling? But if Qin Ling dared to delay him at this time, then he wouldn't mind ending her. Their friendship wasn't deep anyway, so it didn't matter to him. Qin Ling stood there motionless. The wolf beast behind him had already jumped onto the car window and was howling desperately. Fortunately, the outside of the car windows were welded with metal frames. With the strength of these wolf beasts, it was impossible for them to open the windows. Wang Zhong held a short knife in his hand and stabbed the wolf beast lying outside the window. After 5 consecutive stabs, several wolf beasts were hit in the head and fell to the ground. Thank you. My name is Qin Ling." Qin Ling regained her senses and looked at the boy who looked like he was only 14 years old with fear. Although he was young, his eyes and attitude were very domineering. Qin Ling was a few years older than Yi Qianqian, but her temperament was weak and her voice was very soft. Wang Zhong couldn't help but glance at her and said, "My name is Wang Yan. I'm not a good person. If I save you, you have to listen. If you don't listen, then I can only let you get out of the car. Do you understand?" "I understand." Qin Ling lowered her head as tears fell from the corner of her eyes. She understood that the world in front of her was different. At this time, she had to listen because Wang Yan was her protector. Whatever Wang Yan said, she had to do. As long as you listen. Wang Zhong was expressionless. "I wonder what happened to my family?" Qin Ling looked at the countless corpses outside and trembled. Regarding Qin Ling's family, Wang Zhong had already heard from her when he was treating her in his previous life. After obtaining some special power, Qin Ling specially went home. Her brother, sister, and parents had all turned into zombies at home. Therefore, Wang Zhong didn't pay attention to her and only comforted her, "There are too many monsters outside. When I have time, I will go to your house to take a look. As long as they didn't turn into zombies, I believe they are all hiding at home." Zizizi. The car quickly stopped in front of a villa. There was also an exchange point in this villa, but it was only level 2. He wanted to occupy this place and then try his luck. Looking around, he secretly gathered a trace of internal energy in his heart. Although it was very weak, but with this trace of internal energy, he was already much stronger than ordinary people. "Help, please save us." Upstairs, a fat man wearing pajamas shouted, "My 6 servants have all turned into zombies. My wife and 3 daughters have also turned into zombies. Please save me." There was a large iron gate outside this place, so the zombies and monsters had not rushed in yet. "Get out of the car," Wang Zhong said to Qin Ling and got out of the car. You want to save people?" Qin Ling looked around worriedly. Giving Qin Ling a machete to defend herself, Wang Zhong said, "There is something more important than this." Pushing open the iron gate, Wang Zhong and Qin Ling walked into the villa. As soon as they entered, they saw a large pool of blood on the ground. In the early days of the apocalypse, although some people didn't turn into zombies, if they were unlucky, they would be bitten by the infected people around them. Obviously, the scene in front of them was like that. There was a lot of blood, and walking on it was slippery, making people uncomfortable. A maid zombie standing on the stairs suddenly turned her head and rushed towards them. "Close the door." Wang Zhong shouted at Qin Ling behind him and rushed forward without any hesitation. At this time, ding-ding-dang-dang noises came from upstairs. Obviously, something happened upstairs. However, Wang Zhong didn't have the heart to save people. Even if he wanted to save people now, he would only save his old acquaintances. After all, in his previous life, he heard from Yi Qianqian that there were a lot of people in their camp, but because there were too many people, it was difficult to manage, so there was internal strife and a lot of people died. Therefore, in this life, Wang Zhong made up his mind. It was impossible to save people, so he could only do this kind of work. He and Qin Ling slowly walked up the stairs. Before they went up, they heard the man from before roaring, "Son, what are you doing? What are you doing? Ah!" In an instant, the man screamed. Wang Zhong frowned. What happened upstairs? After going upstairs, Wang Zhong saw clearly. A zombie was biting the middle-aged man with all its might. At the door, a thin boy looked at this scene in horror. When he heard the footsteps behind him, he turned his head to look at Wang Zhong and Qin Ling. "Help, help, my dad was bitten," the thin boy screamed. It's so strange. Logically speaking, the door was closed, and the door wasn't broken. Why did it suddenly open? Qin Ling was careful and found something wrong. Wang Zhong calmly stared at the thin and weak male student, before replying in an indifferent tone, "Only he can answer this question." What are you talking about? Hurry up and save my dad, he was bitten by a zombie." The thin boy screamed. Wang Zhong's gaze swept across his surroundings, before he suddenly smiled. There were 3 dead bodies on the ground. These 3 corpses, without exception, had their brains dug out and the crystal was taken away. This guy's action is quite fast. Wang Zhong stared at the boy who looked to be in his early 20s and asked, "Where is the crystal in the zombie's brain?" Wang Zhong's words made the boy slightly stunned. He originally thought that this secret was only known to him. When the zombies broke out, only he and his father survived. Later, his mother turned into a zombie. In a moment of desperation, he cracked open his mother's head. He didn't expect to find a crystal by accident. Then he found the white light in the room. When he reached out, he found the exchange points. At this point, he knew the use of the crystal. So he took out the crystal from the zombie upstairs. But it was not enough. He looked at his dad. As long as he also became a zombie, he would have one more crystal. He could exchange it for good things. What crystal? The thin boy's eyes evaded. Whoosh! Wang Zhong did not talk nonsense with him. An arrow shot at the thin boy's thigh without hesitation. Ah! The excruciating pain made him unable to speak. He was trembling from the pain. I'll talk. Although the thin boy said so, he suddenly took out a small and exquisite pistol from his back. Tranquilizer pistol. Functional weapon. The tranquilizer bullet could paralyze a wolf beast, provided that it could break through its defense. This guy was staking everything. If he didn't die, he would definitely be a character in the future. However, it was a pity that Wang Zhong wouldn't give him a chance to live. He reached out and pulled. Qin Ling, who did not react, was suddenly pulled in front of him. Ah! Qin Ling cried out in alarm, and then she felt her body go limp. Sigh, since ancient times, beautiful women have short lives. Qin Ling sighed, feeling sad for her fate. Don't kill me, don't. The thin boy was really scared at this time. Anyway, you're not afraid of death. I'll let you feed the zombies. Wang Zhong naturally did not kill him. Wouldn't it be too easy to kill him? It's better to let him become a zombie and let him have one more crystal. 10 minutes later, Wang Zhong dealt with the zombies in the room. After helping Qin Ling to the bed, Wang Zhong counted his harvest. 15 crystals. The main reason was that he did not collect the zombie corpses along the way. Otherwise, he would have gotten more. Walking to the second exchange point, Wang Zhong reached out his hand. Last time, he did not have the chance to come here. This time, he wanted to try his luck at this exchange point. The screen flickered. A short and neat dagger. Chapter 326. Having a reward was always better than having no reward. Wang Zhong weighed the dagger in his hand, and a line of words appeared in his mind. Short and capable dagger. Functional weapon. Although the dagger is short and capable, it is extremely sharp. When necessary, it can shoot a flying dagger by pressing the button on it. Note, the dagger will be damaged after the flying dagger is shot. So it's a one-time use item, but in an emergency, this dagger can come in handy. As Wang Zhong spoke, a prompt appeared in his mind. Do you wish to fuse with the body? Fusing with the body required a different dimension. Fusing with the body meant that even if he lost the equipment, others would not be able to use it. Yi Qianqian's hammer and Auntie Li's broom had such characteristics. As for the different dimension, it could only store equipment from the game. There were two ways to obtain the different dimension. One was to buy it directly, which required 100 crystals. Although the price was expensive, it was very convenient to store the weapon in the different dimension. It also had the effect of surprise and sudden attack. The other way was to get it from the lottery. Unfortunately, everyone's luck was different. Wang Zhong did not choose to fuse with the body. On the one hand, there was no different dimension. On the other hand, it was not necessary. The weapon was not big. Because this was a level 2 exchange point, the number of lottery required was only 7 crystals. So, he could still draw one more time. Wang Zhong clicked on the lottery. The items on the screen were dazzling. There were a total of hundreds of items. However, the quality of the items on the screen was obviously not as good as the level 3 exchange point. Wang Zhong clearly remembered that although he did not spend much time in Yi Qianqian's camp in his previous life, according to their description, he understood that the level 3 exchange point was already considered a very good exchange point. However, it was not impossible to go further up. A woman who escaped said that her former boss's exchange point was much brighter and bigger than Yi Qianqian's. Unfortunately, for some reason, that place attracted a flying snake one night. The camp was suddenly in chaos. In the end, the entire team dispersed just like that. I don't know how many good exchange points there are. However, in the early stages, good exchange points are not easy to develop. Good exchange points require a lot of crystals. In the early stages, ordinary people can't get that many crystals. As Wang Zhong thought about this, he placed the remaining crystals in his hands on the table. The lottery screen shook, and soon a potion bottle appeared. Strength increasing potion. Strengthening potion. After consumption, it will strengthen the body according to the individual's physique. There are no side effects. I didn't expect my luck to be so good here. Wang Zhong was very happy, very happy. In his previous life, Yi Qianqian and the others had become stronger not only because of their equipment, but also because of the potions. There were many types of enhancement potions. For example, blacksmiths like Yi Qianqian could use skill-enhancing potions. For those who were slower, they could still increase their speed after taking a speed elixir. This type of potion wasn't cheap either. Getting a strength-increasing potion this time was a good thing for Wang Zhong. At present, he had not reached a very strong level of strength in his cultivation. Increasing his strength in a short period of time was very important for his wretched development in the early stage. Without any hesitation, he consumed the strength-enhancing potion. The potion was green in color and tasted slightly sweet. Wang Zhong quietly sensed one side of his body. He felt his muscles squirming, and there was a force inside that was rapidly attacking his heart. Power, this was the feeling of a domineering power. This feeling was different from the power of qi. Qi was like a sixth limb. It was similar to internal strength, but it wouldn't change the body's strength. Once the qi was gone, the body would be as weak as before. But the power of this potion was the power of muscle expansion. In his previous life, Wang Zhong didn't have time to take this potion. This gave him a different experience. Soon, the impurities in his body were expelled along with his sweat, followed by the feeling of strength. No wonder in my previous life, a few women without any equipment were so strong and didn't need a man's strength. It seems that these people all took this potion. At this moment, Qin Ling had not woken up, so Wang Zhong went out to continue hunting zombies. Aunt Li and Yi Jingjing took the crossbow and broadsword made by Yi Qianqian. Under Wang Zhong's command, they dug out the crystals in the zombies' brains. For the next 3 days, Wang Zhong took Yi Jingjing and Aunt Li to hunt zombies in the neighborhood. The harvest was very good. They got more than 200 crystals in one go. Of course, these crystals weren't all from zombies. Some of them were from ordinary monsters. Under Wang Zhong's signal, Yi Jingjing and Aunt Li also started to draw their prizes. Aunt Li successfully got the broom. As for Yi Jingjing's prize, Wang Zhong was surprised. It was the sharpshooter's eye. Sharpshooter's eye. Auxiliary equipment. Aim and shoot with this eye. The accuracy is above 99%. No wonder Yi Jingjing was so good at shooting the crossbow in my previous life. So this is it. Seeing that his little brothers were quite strong, Wang Zhong was also very happy. Of course, the few of them had just gotten their equipment, so they weren't that strong yet. Wang Zhong bought mineral water for the rest of the crystals. He drank water to replenish his qi and increase his qi. Next, it's time to save Ni Shaoqin. The first time he met Ni Shaoqin was the third day after the disaster, which was today. It was early in the morning. Wang Zhong said, "You guys stay in the villa today. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to pick someone up." These people were still at a very trashy stage in terms of courage and strength. Wang Zhong did not want them to drag him down. This time, in addition to driving the truck, Wang Zhong also put an electric scooter in the trunk. Before the apocalypse, he had already charged Emma's electric scooter and added 2 more sets of batteries. The range could reach up to 100 kilometers. It was enough for him to pick up Ni Shaoqin. "Ni Shaoqin, wait for me. I'm coming." The truck started and rushed out of the district. This section of the road was not busy. There were not many cars parked outside the district, so it was easy to drive. However, when approaching the Heavenly Court district, the number of cars suddenly increased. This was not strange. Wang Zhong remembered that in his previous life, the military came here to pick people up. Therefore, this place was blocked. He just did not expect the road to be blocked for so long. "I can only ride in." It could be seen that the military came here to pick people up. The surrounding monsters and zombies were swept away, so the road was very quiet. After getting out of the car, Wang Zhong locked the door to prevent people from stealing the car. "Let's move." Wang Zhong turned the electric scooter's handle and the car rushed out. There was a lot of debris on the ground. However, the electric scooter relied on its small size and 2 wheels to ride on the road with ease. There was still some distance to the Heavenly Court district. Suddenly, there was a burst of gunfire in the distance. Da-da-da. At the same time, bats flew back and forth in the sky. Many people were directly caught by the bats and thrown to the ground. "It seems like we won't make it in time." Wang Zhong frowned. The road was too difficult to travel. The closer he got to the Heavenly Court district, the harder it was to travel. There were a few times when he had to carry the electric scooter. When he arrived at the district, the military had already evacuated. In the distance, a few large beasts were pouncing on them. It seemed that things were not looking good for them. Wang Zhong entered the district. At that moment, some people began to pick up wooden sticks and other things to defend themselves. Another familiar scene appeared in front of him. Wang Zhong looked around, but did not see the brawny man or Ni Shaoqin. "Seems like I'm late by about 5 minutes. According to the trajectory of my previous life, if the brawny man did not die, he and Ni Shaoqin should have escaped into the building." Wang Zhong did not deal with the bats. Instead, he quietly entered the building. As soon as he entered, Wang Zhong heard a scream. "Help! No!" Sob, 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 don't. Rip. Along with the scream for help, there was also the sound of clothes being torn. When Wang Zhong heard it, his heart skipped a beat. This voice, wasn't it Ni Shaoqin's? The location of the scream was on the first floor, room 103. Wang Zhong rushed to the door. The door was locked. Bang! Effortlessly, Wang Zhong kicked open the door to the room. The scene in front of him made his eyes bleed. The pitiful Ni Shaoqin's shirt was torn open, revealing a small camisole. Her right cheek was obviously slapped, and it was swollen. Wang Zhong's heart ached when he saw it. Other than that, there were 2 corpses. Wang Zhong recognized the 2 corpses. They were 2 elderly people who lived alone here. At that moment, both of their brains were bleeding. It was obvious that they were on the verge of death. This person was truly vicious and merciless. "Who is it?" The brawny man suddenly turned his head and raised his eyebrows. Where did this little bastard come from? Your grandpa is doing something. Get lost. Wang Zhong stared at this person and walked towards him step by step. In his previous life, it was this person who made him unlucky. This time, he wanted to teach him a lesson. Wang Zhong clenched his fist and said coldly, "It's time to avenge my broken bones." Broken bones? Wang Zhong's words made the brawny man confused. But it didn't matter. This 14-year-old brat was too inexperienced. He was confident that he could teach him a lesson with one punch. "You're courting death." The brawny man suddenly threw a punch at Wang Zhong's face. Wang Zhong didn't dodge. Instead, he sent out a punch. Bang! When the fists collided, the brawny man's heart skipped a beat. An intense pain rose from the bottom of his heart. Painful, so painful. It was obvious that his hand was broken. Ah! The brawny man held his head and kept retreating. Wang Zhong picked up the machete and stabbed the brawny man's stomach. Puff! The white knife went in, and the red knife came out. Wang Zhong didn't kill him. Instead, he kicked him outside and fed him to 2 passing zombies. People who don't listen should become zombies and harvest the crystals in their brains. Are you okay? After the matter was settled, Wang Zhong walked into the room. Enai Xiaoqin was like a blind person. Her hands kept groping and crying. Woo-woo, that person, what happened to that person? Thank you for saving me. I'm short-sighted. I can't see clearly. Chapter 327. Looking at Enai Xiaoqin's blind appearance, Wang Zhong smiled and took out a pair of spectacles he had prepared beforehand. Opening the case, he shoved the spectacles into Enai Xiaoqin's hands. "Here, I just happen to have a pair of spectacles with me." "Thank you, big brother." Enai Xiaoqin quickly put on the glasses and looked at the person in front of her. She realized that it was a young man. "Thank you, I'm Enai Xiaoqin." "I'm Wang Yan." Wang Zhong awkwardly pointed at Enai Xiaoqin's torn camisole. "Do you want to change your clothes first?" I'm sorry." Enai Xiaoqin's face was bright red, but she was quite cute. Wang Zhong could not help but recall the scene of Enai Xiaoqin's head being hung on the front of a car in his previous life. At that time, when he saw her head, he suddenly realized that his heart was also very sad. "In this life, I won't let you die so miserably," Wang Zhong thought to himself. While Enai Xiaoqin was looking for clothes in the house, Wang Zhong came to the window and looked at everything that was happening outside. Most of the living people had either fled or hidden, leaving only a few bats on the ground, eating the flesh of the corpses on the ground. Since he had a lot of crossbows, Wang Zhong took a deep breath and locked onto the bats not far away. Whoosh! A crossbow arrow was shot out. He had been secretly practicing his archery skills for the past few years. Although his aim was not as good as Yi Jingjing, who had the sharpshooter's eye, it was still not bad. At such a close distance, a bat's head was immediately shot and died on the spot. Following that, Wang Zhong began to hunt down bats. The reason was simple: the crystals in the bats' heads were more precious than those of zombies. According to his understanding, zombies' crystals were the smallest and were called level 1 in his previous life. But the crystals in the bats' heads were level 3. A level 3 crystal was equivalent to 30 level 1 crystals, so it was very precious. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. One by one, the bats were killed. After killing more than 20 bats, Wang Zhong saw that most of the bats outside had left. Only then did he stop. There were a lot of dead bodies outside. Wang Zhong found a travel bag in the house and tossed it to Enai Xiaoqin. "Enai Xiaoqin, do you want to live?" I want to." Enai Xiaoqin's voice was soft but firm. "All right then, follow me. Do whatever I tell you to do later." Enai Xiaoqin nodded slightly. Although the boy in front of her was young, he gave her a feeling of trust. Moreover, from the scene of him shooting the arrow, this person seemed to know what was going on with the apocalypse. However, she was smart enough not to ask too much. Firstly, she wanted to leave a good impression on Wang Zhong. Secondly, now was not the time to ask about the situation. Walking out of the building, there were only a few zombies left eating the corpses. There were no other monsters in the area. It was probably due to the presence of the bats that some of the smaller monsters did not dare to come near. Puchi! Wang Zhong cleaved open the zombie's head with his blade, revealing a glittering golden crystal. Do you see this thing? Wang Zhong pointed at the crystal and asked Enai Xiaoqin. Yes, I see it. How can there be such a thing in the heads of these corpses? Enai Xiaoqin was in disbelief. This thing is called a crystal. Don't ask now. When you see the corpses and the bats on the ground, use a knife to cut their heads and take out the crystal. Enai Xiaoqin nodded in confusion. I understand. Very good. Enai Xiaoqin's temper was quite to Wang Zhong's liking. The two of them began to dig the crystal together. At this time, in an office building opposite, a group of desperate people noticed the situation here. This group of people had escaped from the battle just now. There were more than 40 of them. Monsters, why are there such big bats? My wife and children are still at home. What should we do now? Even the army has been beaten away. What should we do? The office was filled with a sad atmosphere. Many people in this group wanted to leave, but they did not dare to. Hey, downstairs in the neighborhood opposite, what are those two doing? At the window, a middle-aged woman exclaimed. The group of people quickly climbed to the window and saw two teenagers chopping off the heads of the zombies on the ground. That's strange. What are they doing? Maybe they are killing the zombies. These two youngsters are quite brave. Since they have gone out, let's go out too. My family is still at home. If you want to go, then go. No one is stopping you. In the crowd, a tall man sneered. The people who were scolded stopped talking. Although they wanted to go home, they were more afraid of being attacked by monsters. It had not been long since the disaster happened. In their hearts, they still believed that someone would come to save them. For the next few days, Wang Zhong did not plan to return to the villa. The reason was simple. There were many bat and zombie corpses here. These were quite a lot of wealth. Of course, he had to collect them properly. At night, after Wang Zhong and Enai Xiaoqin had a simple meal, Wang Zhong asked Enai Xiaoqin to rest well. He carried his bag and walked out alone. Night was the time when the bats would move out. He needed to hunt these big bats and obtain more level 3 crystals. Walala! In the sky, huge bats were circling the top of the building. At this time, these bats were using sound waves to search for prey. Once they heard the sound, these bats would fly over and attack. On the 3rd floor of the opposite office building, more than 40 survivors had been hiding here for a day. During this period, there were people who left. But when they reached the 2nd floor, they encountered a group of zombies on that floor. They were so scared that they retreated. In order to survive, the strongest person here brought 2 friends and some volunteers to search for food on this floor. Fortunately, there was a kitchen on this floor. They found a lot of rice and noodles, enough for them to survive for a month. Listen up. Although we have enough food now, we can't go on like this. The strong man glanced at the people present. His 2 friends followed behind him. So, let's pack up the food and leave here. Friend, if you want to leave, you can leave. A middle-aged man wearing glasses said. Yes, let's wait here for help. You can stay, but we will take the food. Why? That's right. Who are you? Because I, Zhang Dadie, am the strongest here. Zhang Dadie was the fitness trainer in this building. Therefore, his muscles were very strong. Do you still want to talk about the law? You want to take the food away? Have you asked the people here? The middle-aged man shouted. What? You want to fight? Zhang Dadie's paralyzed face showed cruelty. He was ready to kill the chicken to warn the monkey. Only by killing one person, this group of people would not dare to say anything. Chapter 328. While talking, Zhang Dada's two friends also supported Zhang Dada. The three of them were all fitness trainers here. They all had strong physiques. Their thoughts were the same. It was chaotic outside. If they waited here, they would die sooner or later. It was better to leave here as soon as possible and go to the countryside. Because the countryside was vast and sparsely populated, and they could be self-sufficient in food and necessities. Only then could they live a better life. Unexpectedly, the middle-aged man's three colleagues also stood out. You can leave. You can also bring some food, but not too much. One of the colleagues thought for a moment and proposed a compromise. Unfortunately, Zhang Dada did not agree. For him, his goal was not food, but to bring some people downstairs. First of all, the more people there were, the better to deal with zombies. Second of all, wasn't there a very good saying? When you meet a tiger, you don't need to be stronger than the tiger. You just need to run faster than the people around you. How about this? Who wants to go downstairs? Zhang Dada shouted. If you want to go, then go. What are you talking about? The middle-aged man said unhappily. I'm talking. It's none of your business. Zhang Dada looked at the man in a bad mood. He rushed over and punched him. Bang, 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 bang. The tables and chairs in the room were knocked to the ground. The middle-aged man was angry. Although he did not have the advantage in terms of physique, it did not mean that he was a coward. He grabbed the ashtray next to him and rushed over. But at this time, a shadow suddenly rushed over from the window. Ah! The bat is here. The people in the room were instantly in a mess. Bang, bang. The next moment, the fragile glass wall was smashed by a bat that was as tall as two people. The bat staggered in and bit a woman who was lying under the table. Suddenly, blood splashed. Ah! A large group of people hurriedly ran away, who knew that the glass wall behind them was suddenly smashed open. Suddenly, 5 or 6 bats rushed in. The group of people was immediately surrounded in the same place. This group of people obviously did not know that the louder the noise, the more attractive it was to the bats. At this moment, the office was still in a mess. In the blink of an eye, the 5 or 6 people who screamed the loudest died under the bat's claws. The group of people was suddenly blocked in a corner. The huge bat slowly walked towards the group of people. At the front of the group, a pretty girl was crying. She wanted to hide in the crowd to escape from the stinky bat. But the crowd made it impossible for her to squeeze in. Help, help. The girl whimpered. Perhaps because it had just eaten an arm, the bat felt a little full, so it did not rush to bite the girl. Instead, it slowly approached the girl. The group of people hiding behind their desks all looked at the cute girl with sympathy and relief. However, no one went over. The monster was so terrifying that no one dared to act rashly. Help! The girl looked at Zhang Dada, who was not far behind her. This fitness trainer had once promised her that he loved her very much and was willing to give up everything for her. If he could marry her, it didn't matter if the child was his or not. But now, he was actually hiding in a corner. She regretted it. She couldn't help but look at a dark and short boy beside her. His name was Niu Fei. This boy had been her deskmate since childhood. After going to college, he had been riding a bicycle meticulously to pick her up and send her to school in the rain and wind. Until one day, this man confessed to her. But she didn't like this short, dark and poor boy at all, so she rejected him at that time and accepted Zhang Dada, who only drove her to school for one day. But now, she didn't expect that when she was in trouble, it was this boy who stood by her side without hesitation. Guo-ing, I will protect you. Niu Fei stood in front of Guo-ing resolutely. He held a sharp pen in his hand and stared angrily at the approaching big bat. The group of people behind saw this scene, and their eyes were very complicated. Stupid, too stupid. For a girl, he was willing to be a scapegoat. Nowadays, there were not many people who were willing to contribute like this for free. Niu Fei, you. Guo-ing was moved. Don't say it. Niu Fei turned to look at Guo-ing and said seriously, although I have no money, short and dark, I have a heart to protect you. After that, Niu Fei stared at the approaching bat and was ready for the final fight. For the woman he loved, although the woman he loved had already been with someone else, he didn't care. He believed that his sincerity could move her. I hope I can survive and let Guo Ying know my goodness. Just when he was ready to fight desperately, an accident happened. Bang! The locked door was suddenly knocked open, so that a group of bats in the room heard the sound and looked over. Quack, quack! The bats cried together to inform their companions that someone appeared. The person who rushed in was naturally Wang Zhong. When downstairs, he noticed a group of bats flying here, and many bats were lying on the window, so he concluded that there was a sound in the room, which attracted the bat's attention. The crystal in the bat's brain was the easiest high-level crystal for him to get, so he went upstairs directly. Of course, there were a lot of zombies downstairs, but the zombies now posed no threat to him. The key point was that zombies couldn't climb stairs. In the movies, zombies could run and climb stairs, but in reality, even a small stone could trip them. Rushing into the room, Wang Zhong didn't look at them, but chopped at the nearest bat with the machete. Then he quickly shot at the biggest bat with the crossbow in his hand. Puff! The bat's head was directly penetrated, and it fell to the ground. The remaining bats were certainly not easy to deal with, and they all rushed to him. But Wang Zhong was prepared. He flashed, jumped to the side of the table, and stood still. The bats were like blind people, scurrying in the room. Taking advantage of these opportunities, Wang Zhong's crossbow shot at them one by one. Soon, a group of bats in the room all fell down. Keep your voice down. If you attract bats, you can solve it by yourself later. Wang Zhong's voice was cold, and then he began to cut the things in the bat's brain one by one and collected them. Young man, thank you for saving us. Thank you so much. You are really our savior. By the way, how did you come up? Have you solved all the zombies downstairs? A group of people came over. Although Wang Zhong hated the feeling of being surrounded by people, he wasn't a cruel and merciless person. He wouldn't lay his hands on innocent people. So he responded indifferently, the zombies downstairs are solved. If you want to leave, do it as soon as possible. That's great. A group of people cried with joy. Then let's go quickly. At this time, Zhang Dada raised his arm and shouted excitedly. He originally thought that he was going to die, but he didn't expect that someone would come to save him. But he had some doubts in his heart. Why did this young man take the machete and look for the crystals in the heads of these bats? What was his purpose? Although he felt strange in his heart, he was not going to stay here. He said to Guo Ying beside him, "Let's go." At this time, Niu Fei went to Zhang Dada. Zhang Dada was happy and said, "You were very brave just now. Thank you for standing in front of my girlfriend. I also wanted to save her, but I was squeezed inside and couldn't get out." Niu Fei was not stupid. Naturally, he knew how perfunctory Zhang Dada's expression was. But he couldn't say anything. In essence, Niu Fei was an introverted person. He gritted his teeth and said, "Originally, I came to you this time to say that I was going to leave here. Before I leave, Mr. Zhang." Niu Fei suddenly reached out and stuffed the condom in his hand into Zhang Dada's hand. "Please treat her well. Taking medicine is bad for her body. And there are so many monsters outside. Please don't make her pregnant. She is weak and can't stand the tossing. Please treat her gently." Tears dripped from Niu Fei's eyes. The iron-blooded man really cried at this moment. Zhang Dada was also very moved. He was a good man. He nodded, "Don't worry, I am very gentle." Unexpectedly, Guo Ying shook off Zhang Dada's hand at this time. "Guo Ying, you. Zhang Dada, let's break up." In the crisis just now, Guo Ying had recognized Zhang Dada's character. "Oh, okay, you want to break up with me. You don't want to sit in the Mercedes-Benz, do you?" Because these people had no information from the outside world, they thought that this was the only place where the monsters appeared. They also imagined leaving here, leaving the city, and other places were still peaceful. Guo Ying snorted, "I am not that kind of woman. I will give you 1 million yuan. Apologize to me immediately and come to my arms obediently. Zhang Dada stretched out a finger and said. To deal with this kind of woman, he had 100 ways to deal with it. Many people thought that Zhang Dada's job was a fitness coach. In fact, he was a little rich second generation. He worked here to maintain his figure and to pick up girls. The situation here attracted Wang Zhong's attention. He looked at this scene with interest. He wanted to see how this woman would choose. Gua Ying looked at Zhang Dada sadly. Do you think I am with you for money? Ha ha ha. No. Zhang Dada raised his eyebrows. Is it because I am handsome? The truth. Niu Fei looked at Gua Ying. Gua Ying suddenly threw herself into Niu Fei's arms. Niu Fei, you still love me so much at this time. You are afraid that I will be hurt by others. You are the person I want to find. Niu Fei patted Gua Ying's shoulder and comforted. Okay. Be good. In the future, I will use my life to protect you. You are really infatuated. Zhang Dada sneered and was no longer prepared to stay here. He said to the two friends, let's go. The three people were not going to stay here, but when Zhang Dada passed by Wang Zhong, he paused. This person had so many weapons in his hands. Friend, you have so many weapons on you. Can you share some with me? Zhang Dada asked. Chapter 329. Wang Zhong glanced at Zhang Dada indifferently, shook his head and said unhappily, get out. He didn't need to be polite to these people. Zhang Dada was not annoyed when he was rejected. He smiled and said, I have money. Are you an idiot? Do you think money is useful here? Zhang Dada was stunned and said, although money is useless in this case, it will be useful when the army solves the problem here. Get out. Okay. Zhang Dada smiled, but he was more and more envious of Wang Zhong's weapon. He didn't like to play with knives and guns, but now they were surrounded by monsters. At present, he only had a small and exquisite fruit knife in his hand, which was useless. But with the weapon in Wang Zhong's hand, it was different. He wanted to get the things in Wang Zhong's hand more and more, and he couldn't suppress the thoughts in his heart. Suddenly, he thought of a problem. When he passed by him, he was so close, and he was still smashing the bodies of those bats on the ground. Could he take the opportunity to attack him? As soon as this idea appeared, it was like planting a devil's seed in his heart, which made him want to implement it more and more. Wang Zhong really didn't know that the person he just saved would want to kill him. He was still chopping the bodies of the bats on the ground and had dug out 3 crystals. These crystals were quite big, but the bat's head was much harder than that of the zombies, so it was a little difficult to chop it. When he was about to kill the 4th bat, suddenly, Zhang Dada behind him turned his head and stabbed Wang Zhong's waist with a knife he had prepared. This was also because he didn't know how to stab people. For him, he could just stab Wang Zhong casually and leave here immediately. Little brother, be careful. Niu Fei noticed this scene and hurriedly shouted. Damn, this guy is really annoying. Zhang Dada's eyes were cold, but he had already started. He had no way back. This person must die. He would leave here after grabbing the weapon. You want to die? Although Wang Zhong didn't look back, now he had strength, and his perception ability was not comparable to ordinary people. Pa! Without even turning his head, Wang Zhong easily grabbed Zhang Dada's arm. Ugh! Zhang Dada was stunned and instinctively tried to break free from Wang Zhong's grasp. However, the arm strength that he was so proud of was powerless in front of this 14-year-old youth at this moment. Gotcha! Wang Zhong turned around coldly. Without any hesitation, he exerted force with his fingers and snapped it. Zhang Dada's arm, which was holding the knife, was directly broken. Woo woo! Wah wah! Zhang Dada screamed. His originally rosy face suddenly turned deathly pale. The two friends behind him were frightened by Wang Zhong's ruthless methods and quickly retreated. My hand, my hand! Although the other party was begging for mercy, Wang Zhong's heart was already as hard as steel. He was really speechless at Zhang Dada. He wanted his weapon and even wanted to kill him. Such a person could not be left alive. This person's screams will definitely attract the bats. If you want to escape, quickly go downstairs. Wang Zhong shouted to a group of stunned people. Thank you. A group of people quickly thanked him and left. Why don't you go? At this time, Wang Zhong saw Niu Fei in the crowd. This guy was still standing in the hall. There are so many bats. Let's go together. It's dangerous. Niu Fei said with some stupidity. Wang Zhong was amused by this person's stupidity and said, No need. You can go down. But don't you understand? Hurry up. Wang Zhong reprimanded. Dainyu, let's go downstairs. Guoring looked at Wang Zhong with some fear. Guoring, save me. Save me. I'm your husband, Zhang Dada. Have you forgotten what you said last time when we got a room? You said you would do anything for me. Zhang Dada shouted at the top of his lungs, only hoping that Guoring could save him. Unfortunately, after what happened before, how could Guoring save him? So he quickly went downstairs with Niu Fei. At the same time, bats flew down. Go! Wang Zhong kicked Zhang Dada to the ground. The crossbow arrow shot straight into his leg and nailed him to the ground. No, I know I'm wrong. I know. Zhang Dada shouted at the top of his lungs. Wang Zhong hid behind a desk and looked at this scene with no expression. The louder Zhang Dada shouted, the more useful it was for him, because this could attract a group of bats and let him kill them one by one. At this time, more than a dozen bats flew in. It was too easy to deal with these blind bats. As long as they didn't make a sound, these bats were simply live targets. After a night of hard work, Wang Zhong slaughtered more than 80 bats in this office hall. There were so many that the school bag he brought couldn't hold them. As for Zhang Dada, he had already been eaten until only his head was left. After that, Wang Zhong found a large woven bag in the office and put it all in. He carried the school bag on his back and the luggage bag on his shoulder and began to go downstairs. Just downstairs, to Wang Zhong's surprise, Niu Fei and Guoring didn't leave. At this time, they greeted him. You haven't left yet? Wang Zhong didn't say a word and continued to walk. Little brother, my name is Niu Fei. This is Guoring. Well, what's the matter? Well, I see you are collecting these things. If possible, we can help you collect them. After Niu Fei finished speaking, Guoring next to him sensibly dragged a large woman's bag, which was bulging. Little brother, Niu Fei said that you have been digging these things, which may be useful to you. We didn't sleep last night. We have been downstairs, taking these things from the dead zombies' heads. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows, which made him quite surprised. You've done well. Wang Zhong revealed a smile. He liked people who were sensible. You can't carry it alone. Let's help you? Niu Fei asked tentatively. In theory, Wang Zhong was not willing to accept anyone except those acquaintances in the previous life. Because in the end of the world, people's hearts were unknown. Except for those who understood, who knew what these people really thought. However, Niu Fei was quite honest, which could be seen from his previous series of practices. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong decided to give him a chance. After all, the efficiency of collecting crystals by himself was very low, so he needed more people. Niu Fei was so honest that he could give him some advice in the future. Well, you can follow me, but listen. You must listen to me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Although Wang Zhong looked very young, Niu Fei didn't dare to underestimate him at all. He nodded quickly and said, We just want to live. What do you want us to do? We will be obedient. Very well, let's go now. Wang Zhong went back along the original road. Today, there were a few scattered wolf beasts on the street, but they were not big in size. So far, the bat group had not occupied this place, so there were still some monsters nearby. The three of them bent over and entered the community building. Ni Shaoqin had already seen Wang Zhong from the window, so she quickly opened the door for them. Wang Zhong introduced the three people and said, "Your task is not to kill zombies. You just need to be responsible for looking for this thing." He took out the crystal from the bag and showed it to them. "I understand." Niu Fei's mind was very simple. Since he followed Wang Zhong, he would do whatever Wang Zhong said. Guo Ying curiously picked up the crystal and asked, "What's the use of this thing?" "When the time is right, I will tell you." Wang Zhong took the crystal. For these two people, Wang Zhong was still on guard. He needed to observe how these two people were. "Oh." Guo Ying nodded. For the next 3 days, Wang Zhong took them to collect the crystals of nearby zombies and some small monsters. Finally, a total of 8 luggage bags were full. Finally, Wang Zhong took the 3 people and pulled these things to the truck. "Well, today is the last day of searching, and then we will leave." This morning, after packing up, Wang Zhong was not ready to collect the crystals. He aimed at the nearby pharmacy and some food. He was not ready to take the risk of the shop with the insects, so he looked at another pharmacy. After collecting the medicine, it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The 4 of them only had some porridge in the morning. Under such high-intensity work, they were so hungry that their chests were sticking to their backs. But under Wang Zhong's order, including Ni Shaoqin, they did not dare to complain. "Well, the things are ready. Let's go here to eat something." Wang Zhong pointed at a small restaurant opposite the pharmacy that sold chicken stew. The chicken pot was closed. It was estimated that people ran away on the day of the disaster, but Wang Zhong concluded that there should be ingredients here, so he walked over and pried open the shutter door. After entering the house, Wang Zhong searched around the house. Sure enough, he found the alcohol stove used by this shop, as well as some chicken meat placed in the fridge. There were many side dishes in the kitchen, and all the ingredients were available. Although there was no air conditioning in the refrigerator, because only a few days had passed, the meat inside was not bad. Wang Zhong took out a big fat chicken and asked Guo Ying to cook. This woman did the least in the operation just now. Wang Zhong would not spoil her like Niu Fei. "You cook the chicken pot. We will move these ingredients to the car." Wang Zhong ordered. "Wang Yan, let me do these." Niu Fei seemed to care about Guo Ying. He was not even willing to let Guo Ying do this little work. Wang Zhong stared. "You do everything. Does that mean that she doesn't need to be here?" Niu Fei suddenly understood and nodded quickly. "That's not what I mean. I will go to work." Although Guo Ying was dissatisfied with Wang Zhong, from Wang Zhong's means and the fully equipped truck, she could see that following Wang Zhong would definitely be able to survive. So he did not dare to say more. He got water from the bucket, lit the alcohol stove, and began to cook. More than an hour later, Wang Zhong and the others were almost done moving the goods, and Guo Ying had also finished cooking the chicken pot. For a time, the fragrance was everywhere. But at this time, a large group of people came from the distant street. Chapter 330. After the disaster, most of the people went into hiding. After so many days, some people who didn't have much food started to come out to look for food. Zhang Jianxiang, the future strong man, was one of them. He was originally the leader of the gangsters around here. Before the apocalypse, he would bring some of his underlings to eat and drink. Occasionally, he would get some money from the shops along the street. Many people were afraid of their despotic power and didn't dare to talk to them. When the disaster happened, Zhang Jianxiang happened to be drinking with a group of underlings at home. Luckily, this group of people survived. After hiding in the city for many days, they finally found that there were no monsters outside today. This guy finally brought them out of the hiding place. On the way, they met a group of white-collar workers nearby. This group of white-collar workers was extremely scared and had no strength to truss a chicken. Zhang Jianxiang and his 5 underlings controlled this group of people. Firstly, there was strength in numbers. Secondly, he had thought about it these few days. Now that there was no social order here, although it was scary, it was also an opportunity. An opportunity to be lawless. This group of people came out this time and were starving. They originally wanted to find something to eat nearby. They didn't expect that as they walked, the smell of the chicken pot would float out and attract these people. Wang Yen, there's someone coming over. Niu Fei pointed not far away and said. Wang Zhong hadn't seen Sang Jianxiang yet, so he just said lightly, "Don't worry about these people. Let's eat our food." When they entered the house, the white rice had already been cooked. They scooped up the rice and began to eat the steaming hot chicken meat in the pot. The aroma of the chicken meat assailed their nostrils. It was too fragrant. These people had been eating snacks and porridge every day for the past few days. There was no oil in their stomachs. At this moment, when they ate it, it was too delicious. A woman came in. At this time, at the door, a woman with long hair, gold-rimmed glasses, and a black office uniform stood timidly at the door. She was like a lonely woman who had no one to rely on. She said with a bitter face, That is their food. I can buy it with money." Wang Zhong chuckled. He guessed that the group of people knew that they wouldn't give them food, so they sent this woman to negotiate. After all, beautiful women did have some advantages sometimes. Unfortunately, Wang Zhong didn't care if you were a man or a woman. To him, he would only help if it was useful to him. Therefore, he waved his hand and said, "This place is ours. If you want to find food, go somewhere else. We have money. Do you think we still need money?" Wang Zhong asked. The woman gritted her teeth and suddenly knelt down. "Please, give us something to eat. Scram." At this time, Sang Jianxiang, who was at the door, looked unhappy. The people inside were refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. "Fine, I wanted to have a good talk, but since you don't know what's good for you, I can only use force." Sang Jianxiang slowly walked into the house and said casually, "Friend, give me and my brother a share of this pot of rice. You can do whatever you want with this woman. How about it?" These words were very explicit, and anyone could understand them. Sang Jianxiang's mouth left a faint smile. He valued this woman very much. He wanted to eat and drink to his heart's content and slowly enjoy her at night, but now, for the sake of food, he could only do this. Wang Zhong took a bite of the drumstick. In his heart, he wanted to laugh. It was really a case of wearing out iron shoes in a fruitless search. Under a freak combination of factors, he actually met Sang Jianxiang here. However, it was normal. In his previous life, this guy was also active around here. "How is it?" Sang Jianxiang looked at Wang Zhong in surprise because he could see from the eyes of the people at the table that this group of people was led by this 14-year-old boy. "I don't think so," Wang Zhong said without turning his head. "Oh." Sang Jianxiang's temper also rose. For the sake of this young man having a crossbow, he had tried his best to be polite, but this guy still looked arrogant. Sang Jianxiang winked at a few of his subordinates, and they instantly understood. Everyone took out a small knife and slowly walked in. "Kid, do you think you are powerful because you have a crossbow? Your crossbow can only shoot once at a time. We have so many people." Sang Jianxiang threatened. He hoped to see fear on Wang Zhong's face. Unfortunately, he was disappointed. Wang Zhong said, "You are wrong. I usually only deal with those monsters with crossbows. I don't need these to deal with you." Sang Jianxiang snorted coldly and shouted to the brothers around him, "Kill him." He didn't make a move himself. As a person who had traveled extensively, his experience was very good. Wang Zhong's appearance at the moment didn't look afraid at all. This kind of person definitely had a trump card. To be on the safe side, of course, he would let the people around him make a move to test whether this kid really had the ability or was just a fox pretending to be a tiger. Boom! Niu Fei suddenly stood up and scolded with a kitchen knife in his hand, "If you dare to make a move, I will chop you." Wang Zhong also stood up. After a group of people rushed over, Wang Zhong raised his machete. Chi chi. With two sounds, two people's necks were instantly slit. Seeing this scene, Sang Jianxiang raised his eyebrows. This guy was really powerful. What's the point of fighting? He turned around and ran. But how could Wang Zhong let him go? In the previous life, it was this person who made him so miserable. This time, he naturally wanted to teach him a lesson. Chi chi. Two knives split two people and rushed out of the door. Zhang Jianxiang ran quite fast. This was because he was often chased by some policemen. He had already exercised the characteristics of running fast. You are running quite fast. Looking at Zhang Jianxiang's back, Wang Zhong's crossbow had been aimed at his back. Whoosh! The arrow was shot out. Zhang Jianxiang was shot in the back and fell to the ground. Wah! A mouthful of old blood spurted out directly. Zhang Jianxiang shouted in pain, "Ah, help, help!" His shout attracted two zombies that were passing by. Wang Zhong stood far away as he coldly watched this scene unfold before him. No, no! The two zombies finally rushed up. Wang Zhong didn't care and went back to the house. Several of Zhang Jianxiang's underlings who had just attacked had been killed by Niu Fei. They couldn't be more dead. There were more than 10 people left, 7 men and 3 women. Looking at their dress, they should have been white-collar workers working near here before the disaster. Before the disaster, these people were very well dressed. Not only did they have a good job, but they also lived a good life and looked beautiful. However, when disaster struck, these people were all weak and powerless. If they hadn't found a place to hide in the beginning, they probably wouldn't have survived. Little brother, I beg you, please save us. These 10 people saw Wang Zhong enter the house. They all knelt down and begged Wang Zhong to take them in. Get out. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.